Rival House Network.
And don't like the brags, I don't like the boast. They like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Watching flicks, talking chicks that like to motorboat. Can Riverman make it yo a check? Nope. So look at all these movies I got. Commenting like, should we watch them or not? And I know they just be acting for cash, but I still got one question to ask. Like, why'd he do that, do that, do that? If that was me, I'd be like, screw that, screw that, screw that. I'm an alpha, I'd eat through that, through that, through that. So why'd he do that, do that, do that?
Hey there, puppets. BTM Podcast, Zach and I are back. We're doing something. We're doing something. No, it's the start of something. Zach, tell everybody what this is the start of. What is this the first episode of?
We're starting our fucking mustache exploitation, Bubba. It's gonna be dog.
And who suggested the stash exploitation? Let's give props where it's due.
David Copperfield.
We appreciate that, David. It was a great idea. I mean,
that's our motherfucking David Copperfield.
You know, when we get comments and suggestions, we read them all, and we definitely take them to heart, and we always put them down on a list. And sometimes, and most times, we always work our way to them. Every now and again, we get an idea, and we like the sound of it right away. And that was the case with stash exploitation. So, and Zach, how about you tell everybody what we're kicking it off with?
We are fucking doing our Tombstone movie, baby. Or did you get ready? I'm ready. I fucking shaved my face into a stash. You better have too.
Nah.
Gotta make this fucking official.
No, I got the 5 o'clock all around.
Oh, you fuck boy.
I'm an all or nothing guy. I don't like rocking just the stash by itself or the goatee or anything like that. I just kind of let it all go.
It's because you're a beta.
If anything, that makes me more alpha looking, right? Like a Viking.
No, it makes you look like a cunt.
No, I do cut, though. I'm not one of those guys that lets it grow into their neck and look all fucking nasty. I do cut it real nice around the jaw, though.
Fucking beta.
Yeah.
And I got my Tombstone in the oven, baby. It's gonna get done soon.
Are you serious?
I got my Tombstone, baby.
Man, so I was conflicted about that whole suggestion about eating Tombstone, because when I think that was Omega that suggested that, and my counter was, yeah, but when people fucking eat on a podcast, it's just the most atrocious thing in the world.
It's because you're fucking beta again.
Nah, dude, we'll read the comments later, and somebody had my back on that.
Yeah, I guarantee it was another beta. How much would it bet?
Well, I don't know. I think it's fucking ridiculous. But do me a favor. If I can audibly hear you smacking on pizza, you have to edit it out. You have to do it.
Well, fun fact, I don't really have a Tombstone in the oven. I was going to have my fucking soundboard going, and I looked up some pizza eating ASMR, and I purposefully tried to find the most gross sounding one. And fucking Aaron, whenever we're setting up, he's like, hey, you sound really muffled now. So I got a fucking, little does he know, it was when I switched to my fucking mixer that had the fucking, all the shit preloaded into it. So now I can't do it. He's a fuckboy.
Good. Well, I didn't mean for you to like fucking unveil the gimmick, but you sounded okay. You were audible. You just sounded muffled, like you were talking with like a paper bag shoved in your mouth.
Yeah, it's because you're beta ears. Beta ears.
It wasn't any worse than like, say, our old school episodes when we were still cutting our teeth, you know? But anyway, let's not put this off any longer. This film is like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. So we're going to get started now in 3, 2, 1, play.
Hell yeah. So what you think of this movie, Beta Boy?
I like the movie.
Oh, look. Hollywood Pictures, our fucking, our Lord and Savior fucking Pauly Shore would be pleased.
Is he in this movie? No, he's not. Wouldn't it be funny if he showed up? He was contracted. And I know Hollywood Pictures was a Disney subsidiary, right?
Hollywood Pictures is as donk as fuck.
I'm pretty sure it was. And
that's what you should have said.
And I think all of his main films that were during his peak like popularity is 15 minutes. They were all through Hollywood, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Weren't they? So it was kind of like that old school thing where the actors used to be licensed. They used to have contracted through particular studios. You know, these big actors like Mickey Rooney. It's like, okay, you work for Fox. You can't be in anybody else's movies but Fox Moving Pictures.
Oh, fun fact, I read in the trivia that Mickey Rooney was going to be in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so why didn't he?
Oh no, he had a fucking Botox injection appointment or something.
Yeah, he was too busy doing Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. Was he too busy doing the Christmas special of Full House?
Wait, did I say Mickey Rooney? I meant Mickey Rourke.
Oh, motherfucker. Yeah, I said Mickey Rooney, and that's when you jumped off and said, oh, funny you say Mickey Rooney.
See, I'm so bad with last names.
You're terrible. So Mickey Rourke makes more sense. Mickey Rooney makes no sense.
The Botox joke.
I mean, back when this movie came out, Mickey Rooney was literally... he was limited to making TV show guest spots, like on Full House, the Christmas special, where Michelle and Uncle Jesse get trapped in the toy store.
Which one's which? Which one's the Botox guy?
Mickey Rourke.
Okay, we need to do a Rourke exploitation, baby, with the wrestler.
I love Mickey Rourke, dude. And the wrestler is one of, I think, what year did that come out? I want to say the best of the decade, but it might have actually came out. It actually was last decade.
Yeah, it's got Marissa Tomei's tits in it too.
So I like to think of movies and break them up by decade, because if I tried to make and compile a list of favorites spanning all time, it would just be too hard. So I go by decade, and to me, I think that that's in the top few for me of that last decade, because I think it was like what, 2008 or something around there.
All because of Marissa Tomei's tits too.
It's just a great flick, man. And actually, to segue, that's a good opportunity for me to explain. I know we normally talk about this stuff on Cinema Enema, which I will bring up. Which, by the way, is that going up this weekend? Clean and sober?
Hopefully.
It's time. It's been too long since we've had an episode.
You edited it then, bitch.
Hey, all right, fair point. Hey, listen though. What I was going to say though is we'll talk about it next time we record that too. But I saw a movie, finally, not just at Zach's recommendation. It's been at the well, it was yours at first, but then my buddy Randall also said, hey, you got to watch it. And then, of course, I saw other buzz about it along the way. But I finally watched Green Room.
Fuck yeah.
And, dude, it was that movie. Maybe I'm being, presumptive. Oh, no, that's not. Maybe I'm jumping the gun saying it so soon. But I really think that's easily in my top 3 movies I've seen of this decade, this past, this most current decade.
Dog. See, you and Riverbed did an episode one time, and you were talking about like, oh yeah, there's no Rob Zombie now. Like Rob Zombie sucks now, but there's no one I'm excited for. And I was like, oh man, I wish I was there. I would have said Jeremy Solner or whatever his name is that did those movies, but I couldn't because I wasn't there. So the next time I'm on with you and Riverbed, I bring it up, and Riverbed's like, oh yeah, I watched Green Room. I thought it was boring.
What?
I was like, you fucking beta.
Did he really say that? I couldn't remember if he had said he watched it or not, but he said it was boring?
Yeah, he said something like that.
Oh my gosh. And so
I bust a fat ass nut in his face.
To get everybody up to speed, I finally watched Blue Ruin when I was in Dublin, right? And that was a few months ago. And like I said, I was way behind on that. I loved it. I love Blue Ruin. And you know what's funny? And I said I would watch Green Room, and I finally got around to that. I could easily tell you that I have to say Green Room's the better of the two, and they're both fantastic. And it's not...
Oh, hey, look, he's got the Gigi Allen stash going on. That guy did.
It's so funny you brought up Gigi Allen, because I got a segue for that too. But let me finish what I was saying. I think I have to say I like Green Room better, just because... Not because Blue Ruin's not an ace movie. I think they're both masterfully done independent films, like movies you do on a budget in a very confined type of story, limited set pieces, and utilizing very little they both are masterworks. But I think Green Room is the perfect follow-up anybody could want, because I don't know, I'm trying to think of it in terms of music, and I want to make a Metallica reference, but I know you're going to shit on it, but I'm still going to do it. A lot of people love an album like Ride the Lightning, their second record, and that still might be your favorite record. It's actually my favorite record, but everybody goes to like Master of Puppets, the third album, the next one, and it was even more refined. It was a more refined version of Ride the Lightning. The production was even better. Everything was just fine tuned. That's the way I feel like Green Room was to Blue Ruin. Everything about it was just fine tuned, even tighter. And Patrick Stewart was great, and this movie did tension so well. Mm-hmm. Like the whole time, up in the ante with things like, was it Anton Yeltsin? That's his name, something like that. Mm-hmm. The kid that's dead. Him getting his arm cut. There's always something that's raising the stakes and keeping the intensity moving. Because that's what any good, I don't know what you call it, a thriller, you know, any good thriller needs to have that stuff just constantly going and keeping the pace, you know, going and getting faster and faster. And it's a simple idea that's super effective. And I don't know. It's like a really weird idea that not everybody would come up with. It's just like something so simple you and I could have came up with drinking one night. Like, oh yeah, a punk band, you know, plays this gig at a white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. And they witness something and it turns to shit. It's like, okay, great. And then where do you go from there? And you just build on it. And everybody was great. The guy from Blue Ruin who played the apprehensive neo-Nazi, that, you know, the one that kind of almost earned his red laces. His character was brilliant, you know, because he was almost, what's the word I'm looking for? You could tell his heart wasn't completely in it. He was a little conflicted on everything, and he went and told, and, you know, they let him go. And I mean, I guess that's supposed to mean his character showed his you know, they actually trusted him to go and tell whoever to call the police. And I don't know, it was a great flick, very satisfying, and it ended really well. I was happy with the way it ended, everything about it, and it moved at a great pace. I mean, I can't speak enough about it. Oh, last thing I'll say, you know, one of the main Nazis, the one that they were keeping in the room tied to the chair and all that shit, and he broke the phone, and you know that guy? He looked like Corey G. The whole time, I'm like, fucking Corey G got into acting after he left our nest. Good for him.
The one that the chick just unzipped out of nowhere?
The main one, the one that they were keeping hostage, right?
Yeah, she's cut him open.
Yeah. Oh, that was fucked up, dude. Like that, he split open like butter with that razor blade.
Yeah, I'm glad that I fucking watched that movie in the theater. No one was there but me.
Yeah, that would have been great, man. You know what? I had just as good of experience, just kind of in my room too. The theater, that's losing its impact with me, man. I start to hate and loathe going to the theater more and more and more, depending on the kind of movie, especially on busy nights and stuff like that. But this weekend, actually, I'm catching my first drive-in, because we have a drive-in theater, an old school drive-in theater, and I think it's actually been around a long time. I think it's the last standing one. Maybe I'm not right on there in our area. And it's in Glendale, and I can't wait. I actually went there last weekend during the daytime. It's a swap meet, you know? But you could see it's just an old dirt lot, and they got all the screens kind of in a circle around the perimeter. Old school. So I'm going to go see a flick there this weekend. You know, I don't know what I'm going to see yet. But I just want to experience that. And hopefully I fall in love with that experience, because if I ever have to see any sort of blockbusters, because that's all they're going to carry is blockbusters. They got like 9 screens. It's going to be the big movies. I will make the drive. I will drive an extra 20 minutes out of my way just to go see it there, if that's the case. But hey, you mentioned Gigi Allen before. It's funny you did that, because I just got done listening to a podcast. Are you familiar with Jamie Josta?
Jamie Josta from Hatebreed.
Yeah.
Stuff some cotton in your ears, tune in the Headbangers Ball. That's the only thing I know him from. He was on MTV too. He hosted Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, and you said of Hatebreed, so yeah, he's in Hatebreed.
Bump the volume up to 11.
Anyway, he's got a podcast now, and I've kind of known he's had a podcast for a couple of years, but I never actually stopped and listened to it. And I started listening to it, and it's really, really good. He's actually a really good host, and since he's a musician and he has certain tools at his disposal, he's got a really well produced show. Like, he's got all these segments in place, and he has little cut music clips that he was able to do himself, you know, with the studio and the hardcore voice, because Hatebreed's like a modern hardcore band, and he does his own segments, and he's gotten like his friends to help him. Like, one of the segments has Dee Snider singing with a band, like introducing the segment, and so it's really well put on. Anyway, he had Randy Bly from Lamb of God on there, and they're having a conversation. And even though he's in like a quote unquote metal band, he's actually a hardcore guy. He never liked metal. He just kind of fell into the band. And so they were talking about that shit. They got onto the topic of Gigi Allen, and they went down that whole wormhole, and it was pretty interesting. And he was talking about how, I actually interviewed Gigi Allen like right before he died, like a couple of weeks before he died. And it was a pretty interesting story. And they were talking about the whole hardcore scene, and they started talking about, you know, Agnostic Front and Robert, their singer, and all that shit. And they were talking about going to Cuba and this whole thing going on because he's Cuban. And they somehow got onto the topic of the Cuban hardcore scene. And I guess it was so small, like when it was just sort of bursting, when hardcore was all the thing and happening. And it was such a small group that this is how hardcore they were. Have you ever heard of the Freakies? Okay, it was a movement. It was the Cuban hardcore scene. And they basically had that, they're all against us. We're outsiders, that hardcore kind of punk rock mentality. And we're not made for this world. So we're not going to last anyway. So they all injected themselves at the height of the scare, by the way, with AIDS, HIV.
That's fucking metal.
Dude, they did. And I had to Google that shit after they were talking about it, and it's legit. They injected themselves. So this is kind of at the height of all that AIDS stuff, and it probably would have been very hard to find anybody with AIDS. There might have been somebody legit with AIDS in the group, and they just kind of came to all this, like this pact, this blood brother pact.
I thought you were going to say they injected themselves with cum.
No.
Like they were real cum junkies, and me and Mac only pretend to be cum junkies. We were not that hardcore.
No. So they injected themselves with HIV. Yeah. But anyway, they were talking about how the last one just died. And I don't know what was making him hold on for so long. Maybe because, now we live in a society where HIV is more or less pretty contained, right? But back then, like I said, when they would have made that little brother pact, it wouldn't have, like I said, somebody in their group could have had it. It wouldn't have been hard to find somebody with it and do all that shit. But anyway, I guess the last one just died. I had no idea such a group existed, but you're right. It's like it's one part really stupid, but at the same time, really punk rock.
Fucking genius at the same time.
It's just fucked up.
It's like fucking stupid and really fucking smart at the same time. That's something Mac likes to say all the time.
Did Gigi Allen's girlfriend, did she have AIDS?
I don't know.
Because I don't know too much about Gigi Allen besides the obvious stuff.
I don't think Gigi Allen had a girlfriend. He just kind of like fucked all kinds of people.
Well, they were talking about how hardcore Gigi Allen was, and Randy Blythe was talking about how he was on a radio interview or something like that, where he literally said he was talking about his girlfriend. He announced on the radio, like, for her to come give him AIDS right now, and he's like, hey, hi guy. He was pretty serious about everything he fucking said, so I wouldn't be shocked. But anyway, what a character.
I want to visit his grave someday and piss on it.
Just like Bam Margera?
Yeah, it's encouraged to piss on his grave.
Yeah, I guess there was a documentary on... Was there
I couldn't do that.
But
I don't care how bad the guy is. I couldn't bring myself to just...
Didn't Bam Margera and whoever his brother is from CKY, or one of those guys from CKY, produce a documentary on him, and there was a scene that they left in with Bam pissing on the grave?
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, interesting stuff. Too hardcore for me.
Dog.
So now this movie, I got to say, this was a great and...
Hey, fun fact, fucking Gigi Allen's real name was Jesus Christ.
Shut up.
It really was.
No.
His dad was like ultra like fucking religious, and he's like, oh yeah, God came to be in a vision, and he told me that I was going to give birth to fucking Christ reincarnated.
Not quite.
Oh no, I think it was. I think Christ was a party animal. We just didn't know it.
So I didn't expect for you to say that he was sort of a religious guy. I thought you were going to say he was just...
His dad was. Gigi Allen wasn't. To
name your kid Jesus Christ, I thought you were going to say basically he was really Gigi Allen Sr. He was the first generation of what Gigi Allen became. Like, son, you're going to be fucking hardcore. You are Christ. Like, whoa.
And then his Bob changed his name like when he was like 9. Because, like, I guess, like, oh, yeah, I should have let my husband talk me into doing that.
Yeah, that's lame, man. I couldn't do that. That's
fucking dog. I would have kept that his name.
That's terrible. So his name was his JCC, but his name was Allen, last name. So it was first, middle name, and then Allen.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just call him Jesus Christian or something?
My middle name is Allen. Maybe I'm fucking Gigi reincarnated.
You won't say your last name, but you just gave us your first 2 names. That's something. So Zach Allen. Interesting. I just learned that was your middle name, actually, when you told it to me a couple days ago. Do you know my middle name?
No.
Do you give a shit?
Wait, isn't it like Andrew or something?
That's my fucking brother. That's Dr. Sleaze. No, my middle name is Matthew.
Oh, yeah.
Like Corey Matthews. Right.
Corey Matthews. Corey G.
So... to focus a little bit on this flick, I think this is the perfect kickoff to Stashboytation. And didn't somebody actually request this movie too, along with Stashboytation, when they kind of fit together?
It was our boy Capper.
Yeah, because he suggested the kill more exploitation. And if you guys listened to the last episode, we were kind of making fun of ourselves, saying why not just have a exploitation, cross contamination, because this not only kicks off the stash exploitation, it also kicks off the kill more exploitation. So it's great.
Oh.
And if we ever do more westerns, we got that too.
Yeah, I never liked westerns, so we probably won't unless you force me to.
How do you not like westerns? So that probably explains why it doesn't sound like you like this movie as much as most people.
It's all right.
Sam Elliott, dude. Sam Elliott has the stash to end all stashes.
I would let him suck my dick with that stash.
It would tickle your balls, I'm sure. But so I love westerns.
You have to be upside down.
I love westerns, man, and there's a part of me that wishes they would just come back in a big way. And the quote unquote modern action movie, your Die Hard and your Lethal Weapons and all those types they replaced the action movie. I'm sorry, they replaced the western, because the western for decades was the dominating film genre. They were action movies, and they just sort of got washed out. And there was a couple of hangovers left, movies like Unforgiven, which came out in, I think, 91 or something like that made a splash, which, by the way, you've seen Unforgiven, right?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm going to keep that in the chamber, because Unforgiven is going to be one of my picks for Cinema Enema, because Unforgiven is top 10 easy for me.
Cinema Enema, you mean, according to that meme?
Yeah.
That meme.
Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, man. That is top 10 for me easily. All time. It's such a good flick.
Oh, it's got old squinty-eyed fucking Eastwood in it.
It's great, dude. It's such a good story too. But anyway, since then, over the last couple of decades, there's been a couple of people that have tried to put out westerns, and they just don't really take. And they're usually in the form of remakes, which I think isn't the way to go. 3:10 to Yuma remake, and you had that Magnificent Seven remake, and
what was that shitty one that Seth MacFarlane made? That was abysmal.
Well, I don't know, but I didn't care to see it.
Everybody fucking hated that movie.
How to Die in the West or something like that. Something to that nature.
Like that. Yeah.
But the same thing. Anything coming out these days, they're just remakes. Like, what's the new one that just dropped this week? I think VOD, straight to DVD. The Kid. They remade The Kid. So
The Kid with fucking Bruce Willis and that fucking chubby kid?
Not that kid. I did see that, but no, not that one.
The movie's donk.
But no, seriously. It's I don't know if that's like them playing it safe. Like, you know what? Westerns aren't really in. We can't really, I don't think people are really going to go out and see them and gravitate towards them. So
they kind of bore me.
If we're going to make one, let's just remake a classic. That way we have some sort of installed fan base, and that'll guarantee us some profit with it. That's why I think they're just doing remakes. But I would like to see, a brand new one. I guess Bone Tomahawk was kind of close, right? But it had the supernatural element.
Mm-hmm.
I love Westerns, dude. You're crazy. I think they're great.
I think you're beta.
I like the very realistic ones. I like the biopic ones. They're the ones that are trying to tell a real story. And I even like movies like this where it's representing a real person in a real point in time, and the OK Corral and all that stuff, but it's very fictionalized. It's more of a popcorn movie telling of a quote unquote real event. I like those too. Have you ever seen Young Guns?
Never seen it.
You've never seen Young Guns 1 or 2? Okay. Billy the Kid and all that stuff. Those movies are so far from the truth, right? And people usually praise movies like the assassination of Jesse James with Coward Robert Ford, whatever, right? The Brad Pitt one. Okay, because that one's real gritty, and it decides to take a look into the more disturbing psychological aspects of Jesse James, right? He wasn't a normal guy. He was a killer. And so you watch a movie like Frank and Jesse or something with Rob Lowe and Bill Paxton, and it's more whimsical. They kind of make it like a buddy comedy, and they get a couple of I don't know, but they become likable characters. Those are fun too. I think those are just as cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish they'd write something original. I love those old Eastwood movies, and Once Upon a Time in the West, and the old spaghettis, and the I don't know.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in the West was hard to get through for me.
Yeah, man, that's got your boy Bronson in it, dude.
Yeah, that's the only reason I stuck around.
So the old Ennio Morricone, those old scores, man, those are brilliant. So anyway, this is a good flick too. This actually might be the last I don't want to say the last Western, but I don't want to say the last good Western either, but the last Western that is considered kind of a cult, like a movie that people like, if that makes sense. I can't think of one that came after this that has an audience. It's a meme. It's not even a meme. It's just a quote. I'll be your Huckleberry and all that bullshit and Kilmer. And it's one of Val Kilmer's signature roles. So I think it's one of the roles that people undeniably say he was great in, right? He's been in big movies, but this one I think people always go to. Hey, there's Fat Billy Bob Thornton, by the way.
Yeah, I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah, it's Fat Billy Bob. He used to be a heavy guy. He used to be a chunky monkey.
Cool.
So what's your opinion of the flick, though? You said it was just kind of there. Do you think it's because you're just not into Westerns altogether, or
probably?
Is there anything you like about the movie?
I like fucking Val Kilmer's goofy ass voice. Did Doc Holliday really? I always call it Doc Brown. Doc Brown's cooler. Did Doc Holliday really talk like that?
Probably not. I don't think we have audio record of him to
I've got two guns.
But these guys didn't live that long ago. I think, gosh, I want to say Wyatt Earp. Didn't he live into the 1900s?
I don't know. He kind of sounds like fucking Earthsby World doing a weird voice.
No, it's very cartoony, right? It's over the top, but that's what makes the movie fun. That's what makes the performance fun. And the whole time he's sick and dying, which is really cool. Look how pale he looks. Mm-hmm. But I love it. I love these. I think there's something to say, and there's a value in sort of I like to think of it as the James Bond villain overacting. It's fun. That live action cartoon acting. It's definitely got its place.
When you said James Vaughn, I pictured Vince Vaughn. That's how bad I am with the last name.
I said James Bond.
You said James Vaughn first.
I think you're James Bond villains, like, that sort of over the top kind of character. That's kind of what Val Kilmer's doing. He's kind of hamming it up, right? I like that. I don't mind it. And it works well because it plays off Bill Paxton really nicely because he's just a fucking handball altogether. Everything he ever did, he always hammed it up. And I had trouble distinguishing whether that was his actual limitations as an actor or if that was just his style. It works in a movie like Aliens, right? Mm-hmm. Where he's really playing it up. My thing is, if that's your gimmick or if that's how you act, you go big or go home. Be that guy. Be a Bill Paxton. Just fucking embrace it.
Now, why'd they call him Doc Holliday? I think he should be arrested for impersonating a doctor, personally.
I'm pretty sure that's not his real name.
Yeah.
That guy looks like a Billy Zane wannabe.
It is Billy Zane.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's absolutely not.
That is Billy Zane. He's in this movie.
I think you're crazy. It was a rule, right, to have a mustache apparently back then. Because are we to believe that there was no beta genes in the pool back then that couldn't grow a mustache very well?
These are all betas.
Listen to me. Look, this is like 5 people in one frame here, and they've all got gloriously thick, unreal mustaches. How many of your friends can grow mustaches that thick and glorious? Not all of them.
Oh, I only hang out with the fucking alpha, stuffy alpha.
Yeah. Like Keanu Reeves wouldn't last in this. Oh, I guess his isn't very big.
His dick or his mustache?
his stash.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, baby. Fucking, did you see that news? They fucking cast Bill and Ted's fucking daughters. That's dog.
I didn't read it. I saw the flyby article. So.
Yeah, fucking, it's gonna be daughters, so we know that they're fucking, it's going, baby. It's going.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Hopefully it doesn't get any delays or anything like that. Like I said, they're going to film that. They're going to film a lot of that movie in Tempe here in the Phoenix area like they did the first one at least. I mean, I'm sure they did in the second one as well. So, and I've actually never been to the Circle K, the famous Circle K where, strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Oh, that's a beta fucking move.
That's in Tempe, man. If you ever make your way out here, man, we got to go pay your respects. We got to pour a fucking Slurpee for our, homies on the parking lot.
We got to pray at the altar of Bill and Ted.
Yeah, so that'd be neat. So maybe the flick isn't.
See, I told you, there he is, you fuckboy.
That's Billy Zane, but that wasn't Billy Zane with the stash.
No, he's played both characters. Fuck you.
But dude, the cast is pretty freaking great in this, right? I mean, you got to say that much.
They're okay.
Oh, come on, dude. This is the Avengers of 80s, 90s cheese.
I'd hit that chick though with my dick.
I just
on her face.
It's funny. I just cleared my throat, and I kind of want to ask Zach to edit it out like I did last time. But then I listened to the podcast, and you didn't edit it out.
I didn't.
No, you caught me hacking.
I cut out most of them.
Well, I was hanging back from the mic, so maybe you did the best you could, or maybe you were talking, or maybe some kind of cut. I don't know. It's funny. I caught it.
I just didn't notice.
Billy Zane looks like Frodo in this. That haircut.
Frodo's fucking dank.
No, but you also you don't just have, the cheese doesn't stop with Billy Zane. It's also got Michael Biehn, man. You don't like Michael Biehn in this?
Michael Biehn, he's okay.
But sometimes I forget he was in this movie, because it's like I want to think, where'd his career go after Terminator and after Aliens and after Navy SEALs? I'm like, oh, he was in this movie. This might be the last big movie he was in, because this is 90s, right?
Yeah, that red guy, the guy in the red shirt, he's the guy from the label of the hot sauce that's at the fucking Mexican restaurant I go to.
Yeah, they really do look like they modeled it after that. I know what you're talking about. But no, Powers Booth, man, he's great. I mean, he's been in a lot of good flicks, and I like him in Rapid Fire. He's the villain there. He was the villain in Sudden Death, that Die Hard and a hockey rink ripoff Van Damme did in the mid-90s.
AKA the fucking biopic of David Carradine.
Oh, yeah, it's Die Hard. Yeah, I get it. But I was talking about Sudden Death. And
see, that should be how fucking John McClane dies at the end of the series.
Yeah,
just fucking it was all a joke from the very beginning. We trolled you, and he dies, and his daughter comes in and opens up the fucking door, and he just starts coming as he's dead. Like she walks in right as he's dying, and he passes out. She freaks out, runs out of the room because she got cummed on.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway. Yeah, there's still hope. They're making another movie, another Die Hard movie, so we'll see.
So it could end like that.
And it's supposed to be sort of a prequel. I think they were just going to call it McClane the last time I heard. But no, what if that...
It's not going to fucking end like that, then.
What if that explores his perversion, right? The young McClane. And you see in his early days, he got his kicks by, hanging himself in a closet.
Or maybe the whole purpose of the movie will be he's doing that at the beginning, and the whole movie is his life flashing before his eyes as he's dying with his dick in his hand.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting twist. What a way to end it. No, hey, and I also know Powers Booth from the other Bill Paxton movie, Frailty, right? You ever see that?
Yeah.
You like that movie?
It's all right.
Yeah, it's a decent movie. Hey, did you notice who that was? That was Jason Priestley right there.
I don't know who that is either.
90210, you're too young, man. I guess you're too young. 90210, what? That had our homeboy Luke Perry, who just passed away, R.I.P.
Luke Perry.
Yeah.
Luke Perry.
So even though you're a few years younger than me, it was still on during your time. 90210 ran for 10 years, maybe even 11 years. And I want to say it ended in like 98, something like that. So.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was fucking around on IMDb not that long ago, and I landed on fucking As the World Turns. And I realized they have been fucking putting out a new episode of that every fucking day since the 80s. And it's still on season 1. It's like season 1, episode fucking 20,000. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct, though, the way they had that formatted.
Imagine being one of those guys that's like, I gotta own all the fucking As the World Turns on Blu-ray, though.
I don't know As the World Turns, that's not even one of the longest running ones.
That's fucking terrible.
80s, dude, those soap operas are going way before that. I mean, I don't know my soap operas. My mom used to watch that stuff. For all I knew, those were a dying thing because they're not even really on. How many of those are really on network TV anymore? Because a lot of them went to streaming, right? Apps.
I don't know.
Guiding Light and all these ones. A lot of those shows are going off the air. Why? Because the people that watched them are kind of expiring, if you know what I mean. And the new generation of people don't watch that stuff. This generation's moms and the people that are going to be middle-aged here in 10 years or so, they watch all their content on YouTube. They watch reality TV drama. They're not watching those soap operas. So I think it's just sort of going to die out with the current gen. But my mom watched them. And funny story is Riverman loves soap operas. I don't know if he watches them anymore.
I told you.
He loves the cock. I know.
Fucking beta.
No, but he got into them with his wife. And so, because his wife actually watched them. So she must be one of the hanger-oners, right? Because, you know, I'm sure her mom watched them and she probably had a little bit of something there because of her mom. But she's an exception. And Riverman, Todd, he got into him as well. And I don't remember if it was Days of Our Lives or One Life to Live, one of those ones that I can't keep them straight, that they watched religiously. And one of them, I think it's Days of Our Lives, I'm not sure, had Darius McCrary, who played Fast Eddie from Family Matters. He got on the show, and he was on the show for a long time. Also, Little Richie, the guy that played Little Richie in the Family Matters show, you know that?
I pictured Little Richard when you said that.
Yeah, he kind of had a haircut like Little Richie. He had that little perm, little Jerry curl. It's kind of funny. You ever see Little Richard on Full House?
Never watched Full House.
Shut up, Joey, so I can say yes.
Or that's not Full House, is it? It's
Full House. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. I saw Full House.
Bob Saget, Little Richard.
I was thinking of Family Matters, which you always talk about.
Well, I was talking about Family Matters before.
Oh.
Anyway, I love Family Matters. I love Urkel, man. In fact,
would you suck Urkel's dick?
Dude, you know, statistically, it's probably a really big dick, so it's probably more suited for you.
Exactly.
But I talked about it last Halloween, but I would like to maybe squeeze it in this Halloween if we do.
I'd like to squeeze his dick in.
If we do another stream of some like TV classics, I'd like to do the Urkel Halloween ones, where because he gets the possessed doll, because we should do like a doll exploitation, right? No, I'm serious. And they did a few episodes, Halloween specials, where there was a possessed dummy, a possessed ventriloquist dummy, Urkel, and he was possessed. He was evil and he was killing everybody.
Them old days where they did a fucking Halloween episode of the sitcoms. It's dog.
And they're so great, man. They're so great. So I think a doll exploitation wouldn't be a bad idea. And obviously the Chuckies can go in there. One thing I got to say is on the last episode, The Mask of the Phantasm, we were debating ourselves. We're like, well, what justifies a mask exploitation? Like, I mean, by those rules, shouldn't we have like all the Halloween movies in there? No, I wasn't thinking straight, but mask. What's the key thing in our mask exploitation picks? They all have mask in the title.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking. I'm like, that's where you should draw the line on that.
Mm-hmm.
So
we could put part 6 of Friday 13th because it's got that song. He's back, the man behind the mask.
And then we could do a Cooper exploitation and put Freddy's Dead. I mean, when does it end, Zach?
We already did Freddy's Dead too.
Well, then that's what I'm saying. The Cooper exploitation. Where does it end?
Yeah, we'll put him. I'll make it.
We put Wayne's World in there because Cooper's in that. Alice Cooper.
We did do the original Wayne's World for some reason.
I'm just saying we have incentive to, right?
Exactly. That'd be dog.
Anyway, it could get really ridiculous, so somebody needs to like rein us in.
Oh, speaking of the Blue Ruin guy, the guy who directed that, he probably won't make another movie like that. I was like, oh yeah, fuck it, he gonna make a color trilogy like Blue Ruin, Green Room,
Red Sea, Red
something, yeah. So it's like, but he probably ain't gonna do it anymore because now he's gotten fucking snatched up by the Hollywood system.
Oh, what's he signed on to do? What's he done?
His latest movie was that fucking Into the Dark or something like that. It's on Netflix.
I guess I don't know what it is.
And it was decent, but like it just wasn't.
You felt
as good as.
You felt the Hollywood influence, huh? The money.
It was written and directed by the same two people. The guy who wrote it was that guy from Blue Ruin and Green Room. I'm
seeing Into the Dark, an American horror anthology web series on Hulu. Is that it?
No, it was based on a book.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Hold the Dark is what it's called.
Hold the Dark. Let me see. Okay, so this is pretty recent.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think because it was based on a book, so it's not their material.
Okay, I mean, I'll still check it out. Is that his third feature?
No, his first one was like a fucking slasher movie.
So I just have to go down the wormhole with this guy because, like I said, those other two movies I love so much. I'll have to. Did you watch this? What's the Slasher like? Is that good?
It's like it's kind of a funny, like, little horror comedy. Like, people go to a fucking, like, it's like, it takes place on Halloween, and they go to a costume party, and they end up the killers there. I forgot the plot exactly.
Yeah, I shouldn't ask you because you didn't explain anything. Jason Priestley. I always forget Jason Priestley's in this too. There's so many faces in this flick, and I swear every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah.
And they all have fucking mustaches, which it works.
I know that. Well, that's also why I kind of forget someone like Jason Priestley's in this, because they all kind of look like a guy with a mustache and a little round hat. But and even Michael Biehn is kind of incognito, right? He's got the 5 o'clock and the same mustache as everybody else, the same little bitch goatee thing, and he's hiding under a hat. You know, the only person the only person who's not wearing a fucking hat in this movie, I swear, is Kurt Russell, the star, right?
Yeah, was there a reason for that? Did they fucking they couldn't take a shower every day, so they fucking put on a hat so you couldn't see how greasy their hair was?
Well, I mean, that and just the fact that they were walking around in the sun all the time, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we wear ball caps and stuff. I mean, but wouldn't it be interesting if we all wore cowboy hats again? I kind of almost had an urge to buy a cowboy hat when I told you I went to that drive-in theater and I saw it was a swap meet during the day, and it was like all Mexican people, which is great, but you know, they kind of sell themed stuff to their culture, and this one guy had all these cowboy hats, and I was like, I was very close to buying one, and I'm like, I'll never wear this. I'll probably just wear it for a photo opportunity, or maybe just every now and a blue moon. So I decided against it, but I kind of think I want to buy one just to have.
If I ever wore a cowboy hat, it'd be just to play Big Chief.
What?
Fuck you. You don't get that reference.
I don't. What is it? Please explain it.
Cowboy Way.
Oh, okay. Dude, it's been forever since I've seen that. We still got to do that, man, for our cowboy exploitation.
Cowboy exploitation, exactly.
No, I'm dying to see that movie. I haven't watched that movie in so long. I remember the movie. I missed the name. But that's also got Luis Guzman. Right? Louis Guzman.
It started out a lot like this movie with the fucking home video kind of thing.
You know what's funny, though? No. I'm glad you brought up Cowboy Way, because it gave me a great idea, and I think I ran it past you in private, but I would like to do a themed month where we do, shows dedicated to decent movies. They don't necessarily have to be like amazing movies, but decent movies that time basically forgot.
How the fuck we gonna do it? We forgot about them.
Good point. Well, we remembered, but we got to let everybody else know that they still exist. I think Cowboy Way is one of those movies, right? Like that movie just never really became a thing, but it's got all the qualities, right? It's like why didn't it? This movie could have just as easily been a cult favorite today. It's usually some sort of circumstance, like maybe it came out when there's a whole bunch of competition in the box office or something.
You know what I was wanting to do? Exploitation. Remember back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, whatever, like Napster was hitting big, people weren't buying music anymore. So the band started doing they'd make special editions. Like this version comes with a DVD. We should do a fucking band DVD into CD exploitation. Oh,
so we can, they were all doing that. That was the big thing. That was the big thing. Everybody includes a DVD. And remember, you don't listen to it, but Metallica released a DVD with their Saint Anger album, which, was just world reviled at the time. And it was a DVD of them in their studio, their headquarters, of them playing the whole.
Was it just deleted scenes from fucking Some Kind of Monster or whatever?
No. It was them playing the whole album live in their headquarters. Oh. And you know what's funny is it's pretty much a common thought that
it sounds better than the album.
Yes, it does. It really does. So Metallica has been on this kick where ever since they acquired their own music, they own all their music from their old label and stuff like that. So ever since that happened a handful of years ago, like 10 years ago, they've been re-releasing their entire catalog and all their own live stuff under their own label, which is great for them because they usually market really pretty cheap, because why wouldn't you? They're getting all the profit, besides who they got to pay out for distribution and stuff. But so they can price it the way they want to, which is great. But they've been rolling out every year, every couple of years, 2 at a time, I think, special editions of their own of their old albums and stuff. And I always thought it's like when they make it to Saint Anger finally, they have to release that in CD form, like release the live DVD and break them up by tracks, because they don't have the fucking annoying snare drum in that, right?
Just re-record the snare drum for the new release remaster.
I don't necessarily think you should doctor shit.
What was the snare drum sound like? Is it like a piccolo and really fucking annoying or something?
It's like no, it sounds like a trash can. It kind of sounds like the
piccolo snares kind of sound like that. Yeah.
It sounds really annoying, and it's not just hitting on a trash can. It's like every time he hits that snare, and Lars Ulrich loves that snare, and his snare fills. He's just snare crazy. It's like every time he bangs it, it resonates. You hear that clang. So that clang never kind of goes away. It's kind of always there, especially when they're just clang, 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 clang.
Sounds like the fucking clown hitting the kegs is in the studio with him.
Yeah. So just a lot of that, and that's the thing that kind of hurts the album the most to me. It's like, dude, just get it's just annoying because it never leaves, but it's unique.
That reminds me, by the way, are you looking forward to that fucking, hey, this looks like the chick from
Back to the Future 3? She's dressed just like Back to the Future 3. Yeah, it's funny. I knew you were going to say that.
I just got a boner. See, that's probably the best
Western. Okay, fair play. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, that reminds me, are you fucking looking forward to the new Slipknot CD?
They've released 2 songs, and the first one they released isn't going to be on the new fucking album, which it has the title of the album in the track and the chorus.
The first one was the only one I heard, the one that actually fucking sounded like older Slipknot.
We are not your kind. We are. They decided to call the album "We Are Not Your Kind," so it's the namesake. It's almost like the title track, but it's not and they're not putting it on the album. They're like, yeah, we decided it didn't gel with the rest of the tracks, but they released that song in the fall. They released it, so it'll be almost a year before the album comes out when that track was released. And so fair play on that. I get it. They're like, well,
it'll be on the deluxe edition.
Maybe, yeah. They're like, well, since then we've actually, crafted all the rest of the album and made it. And we've, that song didn't really fit the vibe with the rest of them. Okay, great. But it's really confusing when you basically take the name of the album from that song. And also, great, but they were on Jimmy Kimmel like last week, and they played their actual legit radio single and that song.
What'd you think of their new masks?
They're not to write home about. But
did you see that meme I made of fucking Corey's?
No.
Or I put like, when you want to push your fingers into your eyes because it's the only thing that slowly stops the ache, but you're too busy looking like the Babadook's retarded incest baby.
No.
That's donk.
I don't care about the masks. It's whatever. It's stupid.
You know who made those masks with them?
Tom Savini made that. No, he just made Corey's mask. He just made that. He's responsible for that one alone.
I think he made them all, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He just made Corey's.
What the fuck?
And that's a piece of shit. Like, he made that. They needed to hire the Godfather of Gore.
See, I remember like, what was the CD before the last CD?
That was so that was the Gray Chapter. What? 0.5?
All Hope Is God or something?
No, that was fucking 11 years ago.
That was the one before the last CD, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you said the last one. Yeah, that was the one before the last one. My bad.
See, I remember seeing his mask on that and then thinking, like, it looks like they made a mask, and then he just turned it inside out and said, I like it better this way instead.
No, the one from that album, that's one of his best masks, the one from that album, because it was like a crash test dummy.
Did you think so?
Yeah, it was a crash test dummy. It was a crash test dummy mask with the top cut off, right?
If you say so.
That's what it was. It looked cool. And the last one was a nice effort, where it split off and you tore the face off and the blood and all that stuff. It was kind of cool. But yeah, this one's just like, you needed to hire Savini for this? I don't know.
Exactly.
It's pretty lame.
Yeah, that's Savini. He's amazing. He was a dick to you at the convention.
And he's going to be at this new one, man.
Yeah, we're gonna say something to him. We're gonna be like, hey, what the fuck were you thinking of making that mask?
Well, I don't know.
The fucking worst thing ever.
We'll see if we can, because this convention's gotten bigger over the last couple of years, right? So they've changed venues. It used to always be held at the stinky old Ramada Convention Hall, which is great, in the Ramada, the hotel. And you basically, everybody, if you got a room at the Ramada, it was awesome, man, because you could just go up to your room anytime you wanted to. And the after parties were held in the hotel rooms. It was a great bonding experience for a lot of people. But now it's bigger, and it's actually at a legit convention center on like a resort grounds. So from the way it looks like in the map, the hotel is on the grounds, but it's still not in the same building, if that makes sense. So the building's probably going to be a little bigger, and which tells me they're probably going to tighten up the way people aren't going to be as accessible. You're not going to just be able to walk up. I don't think you're going to be able to walk up to people the way you always could. We can't harass Savini. There'll probably be some sort of like barricade, where they line people up in a snake fashion, right? I don't know. We'll see. But I'm tempted to set something up. That's what I'm going to do, is set stuff up in advance. I'm going to have to contact people's PR people and see if I can work it out, if they'll do it. And I'm going to contact some, he don't remember me, but I'll try and contact his people and be like, hey, can we set up something? You want to come to the room? Blah, 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 blah. We'll see what happens. I don't know, but we're going to have a blast. Hopefully you guys come out.
We'll have to get some fucking chicks to be there. Like, hey, Savvy, you want to come hang out with these chicks? They really want your dick.
Yeah.
He come then.
Yeah, we'll see. But hey, I want to talk about the idea. What do you think of that month though? Because there's other movies that fall into that category of films that could have been bigger than what they were. They just kind of got swept under the rug for one reason or the other. And we mentioned Cowboy Way, but yeah, have you ever seen movies like? Let me think. Have you ever seen that movie with Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler, that Bulletproof movie?
Long time ago.
Okay, so I'm not saying these movies are like amazing, but they're
that's going to coexist with our Sandler exploitation. We're doing every Adam Sandler movie.
Well, I say we start with that one just to get our toes wet in it, right?
No, we got to start from the beginning. We got to start from going overboard.
Oh, we could. I mean, if you want.
Fucking terrible movie.
But Bulletproof was an early Sandler flick. It came right after Billy Madison, but the same year as Happy Gilmore. And so he was still kind of trying to find his footing. I think he was still on SNL, maybe. I'm not sure. And he was with Damon Wayans, and it was like a buddy comedy. It's like people forget all about that movie. It's never streaming ever. It's just kind of like whatever. And James Caan plays the villain. And I also think about another Damon Wayans movie. You ever seen Celtic Pride with him and Daniel Stern and Dan Aykroyd?
No.
Okay. That's another movie. It's a 90s comedy that just got swept under the rug. It's about these two Boston Celtics super fans played by Daniel Stern, like I said, and Dan Aykroyd. And they're going up against the Utah Jazz for the championship or something. I don't know. And their star player is played by Damon Wayans. He plays this hotshot ball player. Anyway, he's on fire so much. He stands in the way of the Celtics winning a big game. So these crazy guys kidnap him and hold him hostage. So there's all these movies I think about that just people don't realize are there. And I would even say The Pest is one of those movies. No, I'm serious. The Pest is kind of one of those movies.
Blair Witch 2.
That is a reason why that movie's.
Oh, shut up. You didn't watch it. You just you talked over, bitch. Hey, look, it's the fucking guy from that show, Wings. They painted him in blackface.
Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church. He played the Sandman in Spider-Man 3, the emo Peter Parker movie. That's what I'm saying. There's tons of people in this movie that pop up, tons of faces. Like, even if you don't know their names.
Is he wearing blackface or is he just dirty or something?
They're all dirty, dude. Look at Michael Biehn next time you see him. It looks like he never showers the whole movie. His whole face is like Pigpen from the Peanuts.
Yeah, but it looks like they consciously try to put some blackface on him.
Well, they seem to almost differentiate the outlaws from the lawmakers, right? The outlaws, look at Michael Biehn and guys like that. They're kind of dirty. They kind of have this look about them. But if you look at Doc Holliday and if you look at Kurt Russell, and they're very clean cut. They're clean.
Listen to you call him fucking Doc Holliday like a fucking bit. He didn't prove that he's got a fucking medical degree. I'm going to call him Mr. Holliday.
He was a dentist.
Oh, fuck him. See, that's not a real doctor.
I don't know. I don't know what it took to be a dentist back then because my history is a little fuzzy on it, but it's like he was a dentist, but I don't know if he was an accredited dentist. I think he was like something else. I think he wasn't from Tombstone because Tombstone's in Arizona, right? It's about 45 minutes drive. I think.
Which reminds me, my Tombstone must be done. I'm going to go grab it real quick. Be right back.
Shut up. You're going to get your fucking stupid soundboard ready. Oh, he's actually leaving. Wonder what he's going to go get. I think Powers Booth's a great guy. I think he always plays the villain. I don't know when he didn't play a villain. Because he turns out to be the villain in Frailty, if you guys have never seen that. Spoiler alert. You've seen him in bit part. If you guys have never seen Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee, it's one of the few movies that he did.
Hell yeah.
That's a really good one. And I think it's underlooked.
Hell yeah, fucking sausage and pepperoni, fucking Tombstone paint.
I was talking to everybody while you were gone. He's speaking about Powers Booth. I was talking about Rapid Fire again and how that's an underappreciated kind of underlooked movie. And it would be so easy to do a Brandon Lee exploitation because he only had just a few movies, right? And we already did one of them, right? It's our most trafficked video. So we should knock that out, you know, do the Crow and do rapid fire but
The Crow's dog. I got that. I put that in Voodoo recently.
I know. Was that you? That seems more like a Mac movie.
Nope, it was only $5.
Yeah, I've had that Blu-ray for a while, and I think I paid $5 for it years ago.
I was walking down fucking town in Detroit, Michigan, and this motherfucker with the fro just stops me. He goes, "Oh yeah, there's got this over there. Shit, take off your pants, shake. We would give you a copy of the fucking Crow, $5."
So what's funny though is I've watched The Crow 2 or 3 times in my entire life, and I've never liked it that much.
Oh fuck, boy.
And but I do kind of want to go back and watch it again to see if like a handful of years has maybe changed my outlook on it.
That could be part of our Juggalo exploitation. We could do that. Fucking Big Money Hustlers and Big Money Rustlers.
And just throw it in without mentioning why it's there. letting people put 2 and 2 together.
Exactly. It'd be dog.
But I kind of want to watch The Crow again. Because the thing about The Crow is I want to like it. Right? I want to like it.
They just fucking like it, bitch.
No, Brandon Lee is charming, even though he's a hammy actor. It's interesting. It's an interesting performance. I like the sort of noir look of it, right? And I like Ernie Hudson. I like the supporting cast. I like the guy that plays the villain, who was in, you know, he's a great character actor, Alien Resurrection, and what's that other movie? I watched a movie recently with him in it. I can't think of it. But he's in Three Musketeers, that live action Disney movie. It's got a lot going for it. I just don't know why I can't gel with it. I can't vibe with it. It's got Bai Ling in it. Mm-hmm. That one weird Asian chick that just kind of shows up in a couple of old movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, we could knock out a Brandon Lee exploitation, no problem.
Fuck yeah.
And I legit like it. We don't have to do that all in one, but whenever we get around to doing a straight action movie, I'd like to do a month of not just action movies, but underlooked action movies, and to do like rapid fire and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's good. You should watch it. You should put that in the box and just check it out. But
there's good fucking pizza.
What are you really eating, by the way?
Fucking pizza is dog shit.
Is that Stone Cold eating pizza? What's with that voice?
Exactly.
No, what are you eating? You said you weren't making a pizza.
Oh, is that how we go play? You just gotta come over here and call Stone Cold Steve Austin a damn liar when he's eating his pizza.
Okay, well. All right, Sam Elliott's the fucking man, dude. He's kind of always been a grandpa-looking dude. He's kind of always been an old man. I mean, he has different shades of old, obviously, as the eras change, but he's great. He's awesome, man. I don't think there's a single chick in the land that he couldn't get. He makes the panties wet. All generations, dude. He'll make your mom's panties wet. He'll make your grandma's panties wet. And I'm pretty sure he could bag some chicks your age.
Yeah, he could. And then, he makes the panties wet. Then I take the panties off and put them on my face.
Did you ever watch The Ranch, that Netflix show?
No. Actually, I think I started it once.
I loved it, man. I thought it was really good. It's basically just a sitcom with swearing.
Yeah, didn't they make him like really dumb in the show? Like a total dipshit?
No. He plays the stubborn dad, the old school rancher, and not a dipshit, but just sort of old, right? Like the whole, he doesn't know he's out of touch, right? He lives on a ranch and works on a farm and all that shit. And
I don't remember if I saw it or not. I might be thinking of something else.
He's so cool. He's so great in that show. I love it. And they just announced that show's ending. They filmed one last season that they're going to split into 2 seasons. So you got 20 more episodes. But
what is the deal with fucking Netflix doing that shit? Hey, look, there's a new season of Black Mirror. Here's 3 episodes. You get the other 3 some other time.
I don't know. Well, I mean, to be fair, they always give you 10 episodes per season of The Ranch. So for them to say, "Hey, it's been a good run, and we're ending the show, but hey, we filmed our last 20 episodes. We're going to split it across." I mean, that's how long the seasons always were. And I think if you're going to cancel a show, that's the way to do it. It's like, oh, you're canceling, but technically we have 2 more seasons. Okay, that's not too bad.
Just fucking prologue the inevitable, baby. Give me the whole thing. If I want to fucking watch 5 and wait another year, I'll fucking do it myself.
I think it's going to end with like 6 or 7 seasons, 60 or 70 episodes. I'm fine with that. You know, that's a good run. Most shows, especially dramas, dude, they don't need to go more than 5 seasons. People bitch and complain about Game of Thrones. That one did go 5 seasons. How many seasons was Game of Thrones, actually?
I think 7 at least.
And people said the last couple seasons were shit, right? I don't watch it, so I don't know. But there's complaints of that. I mean, you should be able to wrap up any story with a nice little bow in 5 seasons. I think it's the money point. It's great. Breaking Bad sort of perfected it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if Breaking Bad went on another season, people would have watched it. It would have been all right, but you would have sensed the decline.
Better Call Saul's pretty good.
I couldn't get into. I mean, I want to get into it eventually. I tried watching it finally last year.
It's a completely different show. It's more like fucking what's that? True Detective.
Okay,
it's mostly people talking shit.
I tried watching it finally last year, and I got like an episode or 2 in, and I just kind of dropped off with it. Maybe I'll go back to it. I mean, the good thing about that and being behind, see, there's a benefit to being behind in a series as opposed to like a movie where Zach always gets on, or a video game or something. The series, at least whenever I do go back to Better Call Saul, the show will be over if it's not already over, and I'll have the whole thing to binge.
It's not over yet.
Same thing with Fargo. I've heard nothing but great things about Fargo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that end after 3 seasons, or is that still going?
No, they fucking put like the next season on hold for like a year because they always shoot it during the winter.
Gotcha.
Or something.
So, whenever that ends, I don't see a show like Fargo going past 5 seasons. To me, I hope they don't. And
every season is a completely different story too. It's like
so
kind of like American Horror Story.
Yeah, well, that's cool. But yeah, so like I'm all about it, and I can never be bothered with the whole Game of Thrones stuff. And I just always told myself, you know what? If it catches me, it'll be like way into the future. I'll watch it way into the future when no one's talking about it. Maybe I can appreciate it.
Yeah, fucking B and Mac will be sitting around talking about like, hey man, fucking Resident Evil fucking 8 remake is good, huh? And he'll text us out and be like, dude, Game of Thrones, the fucking ending, it sucked. And we're like, welcome to the fucking club, retard.
I really do that.
See, that's what always happens. Like,
what did I text you the other day? It's like, man, I know I'm late to the party, but I started playing Stick of Truth. Game's 5 years old.
Yeah, that, and like he told us like, oh hey, I'm just now playing the Resident Evil remake. This is a really good game.
Yeah,
like no shit. I told you that a long time ago.
Well, that doesn't bother me because those games are not time sensitive. And there's for example, I love Spider-Man. We were talking about that when we did Mask of Phantasm.
Can Spider-Man come out to play?
And I love Spider-Man growing up, and I love Spider-Man video games, and I always wanted there to be like a perfect one. So
it figures you love Spider-Man. He's the ultimate beta.
But listen to me. So when they announced the PS4 Spider-Man, and of course everybody loved it, yeah, I really want to play that. But there's something that turns me off of playing a game that everybody's playing at the same time. I don't know what it is.
His lack of a fucking physique.
Okay. I'm not trying to be like some elitist about it, but it's off-putting for me. I think it's that old high school mentality of, oh, I like this band because they're not popular, they're mine type of thing.
Yeah, you're a fucking hipster, bitch.
I don't know what it is, but I love finding those games eventually because what it is when everybody's playing it, I'm glad people like it. When it comes to games, I want it, the more mainstream and accredited and well reviewed it is, usually means it's a better game. When we're talking about like the gaming world, right? Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily the case with music, right? There's a lot of great underground music that doesn't get the time of the day with mainstream publications, but that doesn't necessarily put down the music itself. Games is different. When there's a AAA title, dude, that's and you see a game that everybody loves, it's usually pretty good. It usually means something when there's that good of shit around it. But anyway, so Spider-Man, I want to play it, and when it's sort of past its heyday, and everybody's, like I said, they pump out games so fucking fast, especially these AAA titles. You pretty much have a few weeks to be on something before you're on to the next. Everybody was talking about Red Dead Redemption 2, and that was like the biggest game of all time. Dude, people stopped talking about that after about fucking 3 weeks. Am I wrong? It's just, and everybody was on to something else. So, and it doesn't hurt me to wait on something like Spider-Man because when I do get around to playing it, it's going to feel a little bit more intimate with me because it's like not everybody's playing it. I'm playing it well after everybody's already experienced this, and I'm kind of in this alone, and I kind of get that vibe from it. And the price will be low. Like you can already buy the game for $30, I think. But by the time I'm ready to play it, I'm going to pay $15 for it. And it's going to be like some Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. So what do I really, I'm not missing out on anything. It doesn't mean the game isn't like no good after so long. It's not just because people aren't playing it doesn't mean it doesn't have any relevancy. I played Stick of Truth and I beat that last night, and I had just as much fun with it as I would have had 5 years ago when it was on everybody's Game of the Year lists. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of fun.
Does that end with fucking like Morgan Freeman showing up and it says something like every time Morgan Freeman fucking voices something, he gets a freckle?
Yeah, well, that was a nod to the show. That happened on the show, too.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that happened on the show or the game. So it happened in both.
It happened in both. A lot of the things in that game were nods to the show. Like Princess Kenny was in the show, you know, all this stuff, which was great. It was a love letter to all that stuff that we've seen on the program. But I was dying laughing the whole fucking show. And I'd say, yeah, I would have liked a game. I like role-playing games that are really long, but I'd say that one, you know, that one's kind of short.
Yeah, did you drop by Tom's Rhinoplasty and get the David Hasselhoff head?
I didn't do that. So that's what I'm saying. That's what's good about the game. I played it leisurely for about a week. I played a couple hours a night, whatever, 2-3 hours a night for about a week, and I got it beat. So not too bad, not too long. But there's a lot of side quest stuff, and it's one of those games where normally when I beat the campaign or the story, I get a sense of completion, like I just closed the book and then I kind of don't want to play it. I'm not real big on side quests, especially if I haven't done them before I beat the game. But this game's different. I actually want to go back and get some of that stuff and unlock some of that stuff. I want to collect all the Jim Pokemon, you know? So, but it's real fun.
Exactly. I got that Hasselhoff head real quick.
I don't even know how to get it. How do I get it?
You go to Tom's Rhinoplasty, the fucking, see, that was from like the first season where Mr. Garrison goes and gets a nose job.
Yeah.
And then, and then he just has a fucking
David Hasselhoff cut out head. Yeah.
And every time it shows him walking, it's like, grooving night, yeah, shadow dancing.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the episode, and they have Hasselhoff plastered in Tom's Rhinoplasty in the game. You can see his face in the posters and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I revisited Tom's Rhinoplasty after I went there the first time, so I guess I should go back there, and I guess I can actually get serviced. I don't know. I'll do it. It's a fun game because it's not super hard. There was a couple of, like the Princess Kenny battle, the final battle. It took me a handful of turns to get through that because you have to beat them like 4 times. And it's all about just finding the order. Like, you know, like, I don't know if you remember the game very well, but it's like, oh, okay, start with Stan as your buddy because Stan has more HP and he can take those hits he throws. Don't, like, if you start with Butters or anybody else, they're going to get fucking wailed on. You're going to die and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, it was a fun game. Good stuff.
Did they remaster that for the new systems, or did you play it on the old system?
No, I got it on PS4. They put it out for PS4 along with Fracture But Whole.
Dog.
So, and I haven't played that. And I think the general consensus I've seen on Fracture But Whole is that it's still really good, but it's not quite as good as Stick of Truth.
The story's better than Stick of Truth.
The story's better. Is it the same gameplay? Is it the same type of game, or they totally change?
It's the same, yeah.
Okay. But the story, see, that's what's fun about Stick of Truth is the story. The gameplay is what it is, but it's really the story and exploring South Park. Are you exploring the same South Park, the same map and everything in Fracture But Whole?
I think it's a little different. It's the same town though.
Interesting. Well, did you beat it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll play that eventually. I'm gonna give it a break. I'm gonna do some side stuff in Stick of Truth, and I'll probably move on to something else because I'm gonna get roped back into Mortal Kombat here in a week or two because I'm gonna get access to the DLC and the Shang Tsung and all that stuff. So I gave that a break because I was playing Mortal Kombat with Mac like crazy, and I needed to set that away for a couple of weeks.
I was thinking about getting fucking gold or whatever it's called for a week or whatever month because that new Sonic game's free.
It's free on PSN as well. Are you talking about PSN?
That's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. I already had it on digital, and so I couldn't get it. But
even though I didn't grow up liking the Sonic games at all, so I don't know why I want to.
What was the other game? I got it. What's the other free game? I think it was a big title.
Another one. Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember what it is. But I actually already bought when Sonic Mania came out. I bought it digitally because it was only available digitally at first, for like the first year, and I bought it for like $19.99, and then I ended up buying a physical copy for Switch because I got a good deal on it too. But
dog,
and I didn't even bring it up, but I really didn't get to play too many I've been in a game mood. I go in and out of video game moods. Sometimes I'm like hardcore movie moods. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. And it really depends on the workload I got and what I'm working on the side and stuff, because I have this thing where I can't play video games if I'm doing writing or other stuff. They can't cohabitate. They can't. The games are too distracting. So when I'm doing that stuff, I'll watch movies or whatever. But I've been in a game mood lately. And last night I really wanted to beat Stick of Truth, and I did, but I was in pain because yesterday
he sprained his fucking wrist jacking off.
I wish it was a sprain, right? I don't know yet. So my wrist has been messed up for over 3 months now, right? I woke up and I didn't have any obvious falls.
You know what's funny is I said it first, so I've already put it in their minds that you did it jacking off, so they're all just assuming it that I'm telling the truth. That's
fine. It's whatever. But I woke up. I didn't have any obvious falls or anything, and I go to the gym and stuff, but I didn't hurt myself in the gym on my wrist. I woke up and I just kind of felt the pains, the twinge, and I think what it was is I slept on it wrong. I think I was, had my arm, my right hand, and of course it's my right hand, the one I use for everything, go figure. But I think I had my right hand like under my pillow or something, and I think I probably slept on it all effed up, and I had it bent back or something. That's what I think, and maybe I pinched something. So I'm thinking, okay, well I just need to let this heal, and it was right a couple of weeks before I went to Europe. So it was hurting the whole time I was in Europe. And so I was trying to be proactive with it, and I was trying to wrap it up, and I was trying to lift lighter and just try and be precautious. But after 3 months, it wasn't getting any better. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't think it's going to get better on its own. And I don't know if me going to the gym at all, even, like I said, wrapping it up and lifting light, I don't know if that's hurting me or if that's keeping it from healing and delaying that progress or not. So I went to the ortho a couple weeks ago. He took x-rays and all that, and the x-rays looked fine. There was no cracks or tears on the outside, and he did the carpal tunnel like physical test they do, like the actual physical touching your hand in certain ways and bending your hand. And he said I seemed to pass that just fine, and the x-rays look great. So he suggested the MRI, because we want to see if there's a tear or something on the inside that the x-ray is not catching. So anyway, he put in for the MRI, and I went to that yesterday, and it wasn't just an MRI. They had to give me an arthrogram. Have you ever had an arthrogram?
I don't know. I
don't recommend it. So my ortho a couple weeks ago, he kind of outlined it, said, oh yeah, what they'll do is they'll inject, they'll give you a shot, they'll inject in your wrist, in your hand, a liquid that'll make transparency in the MRI. Like they'll be able to see where the liquid's flowing, and if it like goes off course, they'll be able to see where there's a tear. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, well, if it's just like a shot, I can take pain. Just a couple weeks prior, I'd gotten all my wisdom teeth out, and I can deal with needles. I can deal with that because I know it's going to end. It's going to last, a second, or it's going to last a few minutes, and it's whatever. So I go there, and they put me in this little bed that kind of has a top that covers over me, kind of like a little, MRI machine in itself. And she's doing her thing. She whips out this really big needle, and she drives it into my wrist, into my joint, right?
Ow.
And it fucking hurt. And she was pretty upfront about it. She was more transparent than anybody had been. She's like, okay, this is really going to hurt. Then you're going to feel a lot of pressure, because what it is she's got the needle in there, and then she has to find like the perfect place to inject. So she's like looking for the sweet spot in my joint. Mm-hmm. And you're going to feel a lot of pressure. And then when I actually make the injection, and it's actually a chemical, it has some crazy name, and I'm like, fuck, I got some more information like on the spot about the chemical and how much information they don't know about the chemical yet. Like they're just kind of learning as they go. I'm like, well, this is great. Yeah. And she's like, it's going to feel really hot. I'm like, all right. And it was true, man. She put this needle in me, and it hurt. And when she pushed down in my fucking joint, dude, in my wrist, it hurt like fucking piss. And then, I kind of thought it was over. I wasn't looking. I was laying down like a normal shot. I thought maybe I was just kind of feeling just feeling the aftermath of having the needle in me. I thought she put it in, injected whatever, and it was done. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny. It kind of feels like the needle's still in me. Haha. She's like, it is. So don't move. I'm like, ah. And then I made the mistake of looking up, and there's this big fat needle fucking in my joint. I'm like, oh God. And then she had to, because she was finding the sweet spot, jacking around with it. Then she started putting in the chemical, and she's like, your hand's going to feel really heavy, because she's filling my hand with fluid. And it did, dude. It's like my hand felt like twice the weight as the left one. And so she's injecting it, and it was hot. Like she said, it felt like lava getting injected in this fucking sore hand in my joint, and it was hot. And then she took her hands, and she was doing what I assume, because she wasn't really giving me the play-by-play like a lot of people do. Like, okay, now we're doing this. Now we're going to administer this. No, she takes her hand then she starts using her fingers and pushing on my flesh around my hands as if to like manipulate the liquid to disperse evenly throughout my hand. I don't know. That's what I felt like she was doing. And that hurt. But anyway, she got that over with, and it was what it was.
Did all the pain make you come?
Listen, it took about 10 minutes, and it's fine. I'm thinking, all right, just once I get this over, that'll be it. No big deal. Nobody's telling me anything. I'm like, all right, it'll be just like a shot. Once it's done, it's done. So I go do my MRI, and that kind of sucked because, you know, you sit into a machine for like a half hour or whatever, and they had me sitting in a really awkward position so I could have my wrist in this little machine, you know, because they were focusing on pictures of that. And the MRI machine's really loud. It's a lot of jackhammering, clanking noises, and they give you earplugs that you mash into your ears. Then they give you these monitor style headphones, and they play fucking Uptown Girl for you or something, or some music while all that stuff's going on. And you could still hear the MRI machine like almost overpowering the music and the earplugs. So it's pretty loud stuff. Anyway, that is what it is. I got through that, and I'm like, all right, it's done. And I felt fine. My wrist felt fine. It felt heavy. It felt like there was a lot of fluid in there. But I'm like, other than that though, it was tolerable. And that was around 10 a.m. I go home. I finish work for the day. It's fine. I just have normal soreness, what you'd expect from something like that. But I'm like, all right, it's no big deal. Out of nowhere, about 6 hours later, the pain hit me. It got crazy. Like the pain was dialed to 10. My entire hand was just fucking killing me. And then I couldn't move it. I couldn't move my hand. I couldn't move my fingers. It hurt, and it just came out of nowhere. I've never seen anything like that. And I would have appreciated if they would have given me a little bit of discretion on like the aftermath or something like that. Because I went on Google with my left hand like an idiot because I'm not left-handed. And yeah, sure enough, that's like a common symptom and people talking about, because it's not a super research thing. They if you Google an arthrogram and the fluid they put in you, it's like they'll give you results of research tests. You know, we had 100 patients. You know, this many experienced this many, it's like a lab monkey shit. And like 95% of people experienced, you know, about 4 or 5, 6 hours later, intense pain. And for some people, it lasted a couple of days. For some people, it lasted a week. And I'm like, well, that would have been nice to know. But yeah, I was in agony all night, man. I had some leftover opioids from the dentist that they gave me after taking my teeth out, which I didn't really use because they make me sick, and I'm just kind of against pills anyway if I really don't need them, but they were looking mighty good.
Fucking puss.
They were looking mighty good last night, man.
I would take the whole bottle.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to work this morning.
That's what you do. You fucking, you go to the doctor. You're like, oh, doctor, my fucking back's hurting. I'm really fucking in pain. And like, you get a couple days off. Like, especially do this around like your vacation. Just go to the doctor and be like, yeah, I'm in pain. You know, give me whatever you can, any medication you can. Fucking any you don't even know the stuff about. Like, I'll be your lab monkey. Give me like the heaviest shit, and then like you can take those and just lay up in bed in heaven for a while, or you can sell them on the black market.
Well, regardless, I didn't actually cave. I didn't use them. I just toughed out the pain, but it was real tough to sleep. And like I said, I didn't know if I was going to be able to work in the morning, and I was kind of irritated because I'm like, I really wish they would have told me this like even 2 weeks ago, like because I would have planned for it, like you said, around a weekend or done it on a Friday or something. But luckily, when I woke up, I was still in a lot of pain. But, if I was like in a full-blown 10 the night before, when I woke up, I was at an 8.5, which it still hurt. But at least now I could actually move my fingers a little bit. I regained some movement in my fingers, which was enough to be able to rest my hand on a mouse and kind of manipulate that so I could kind of get work done. So thank God for that. But, and now actually, as today has progressed, I'd say it feels even, now I can move my hand again. It still hurts, but now I have full motion of my hand and my wrist. It's still very sensitive and it still hurts a lot more, but you know, it's progressing and I'm healing kind of fast. So, but anyway, I'm going to the ortho tomorrow because the place I went where I had all that done was just the imaging center. Their job is to inject me and give me all the pictures from the MRI, and they did that. They gave me a CD-ROM, right? A disc with all the images. Now I have to go back to my ortho tomorrow and give him the disc, and he's going to review them and hopefully tell me what's up. And I'm hoping it's just something that'll heal on its own. Like I'm hoping the best case scenario is he's like, yeah, you know, you working out and doing all your stuff was kind of preventing it from healing. So keep ceasing all that activity. Even put it in a splint if you want and just rest more and it'll get better. I'm hoping they don't say surgery, right? I'm hoping it's nothing serious. But
you know what you should have done? You should have jacked me off the way you did. That's what did it.
Yeah.
I told you I'd take like 20 hours to come.
But you know what's funny though is like, yeah, it is my right hand, man. Like I'm not gonna be jacking off. Like it fucking hurts. You know. I don't know.
Look at the, would you rather drink fucking pop out of like a fucking just disgusting sweaty shoe, or would you rather lick fucking our boy Val Kilmer's mole?
I don't know, dude. It's funny. I made right before my hand started really hurting because it was unexpected. I decided to eat some jalapeno jerky, which always just goes right through me, and then my hand all of a sudden just got paralyzed, and I'm like, oh god. And I just kind of got the diarrhea shits from jalapeno. And
jalapenos, dog.
God bless showers, man. You know, it's like, all right, well, I can work around this whole wiping mess because it was one of those things where you're just kind of pissing out your ass, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I know that's TMI. That's TMI, but you know what I'm talking about.
Fucking, what jalapeno poppers. Those are dog.
They are good, but I don't really eat fried food. I try and stay away from that, but they're really good.
I fucking told you, man. You got to wash this soy boy beta smell off you. It's not a good smell.
Yeah. So, at what point in the movie did you get to, and you were like, yeah, this isn't for me. Westerns aren't for me.
I do that from the beginning.
From the beginning? But there's got to be some good points about it. Because you said you pretty much stick by your middle of the road 5 out of 10, which you were telling me when you were about 3/4 of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
You still...
5 out of 10 is basically just the neutral. Like if I walk into a movie and come out not feeling anything, it's like 5 out of 10. I don't give it lower unless I actually hated it, like disliked it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I like it. It's a fun movie.
What's your neutral rating? 1?
No, my neutral rating is 5.
Oh.
But we have different barometers on that stuff. As you said one time, sometimes you give movies what I would think would be a low score, but you're like, no, that's pretty good. Because you're like, I watch a lot of shit, a lot of garbage. Like my low is low. And I'm not thinking about the grand scope of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, 5 is pretty good. You know, and I get it. When you're watching shit like, what's that one movie, Schizophreniac or whatever, then if you're considering that into the pool, yeah, I get it. 5's a fucking masterpiece. That's Citizen Kane, which by the way, we got to do part 2 of that.
We do. It's a dog film.
And we got to have Josh James on for it because we have to have a complete second round, just as it was.
Speaking of Josh James, what do you think of the movie he recommended?
What do you recommend? Is it in the comments?
What was that movie?
Is it in the comments?
Perfection.
Oh, yeah. He recommended that to us in private. I watched it the next day. I liked it. What'd you think?
I don't know if I liked it or didn't like it.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was, I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but I think it was effective. It was, I've never seen anybody do something like that where they're kind of doing the rewinding thing and give you the exposition and kind of, it was interesting.
It was like Funny Games when they did that.
Yeah, it was a little bit like Funny Games. You're right. And it was, a couple of twists in there, with the fake outs of somebody being bad, but they're not bad. And it just turns out that, once again, one of those motherfuckers from Wings, Steven Weber, Wings connection here, is a pedophile.
Oh yeah, it showed his cock too. Very blurry cock image.
Very blurry cock.
I was waiting with my mouth agape.
But I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I don't think it's a rewatch movie. It's not one of those flicks, but it was, I wasn't bored. It had my attention. It had a little bit of les action, which is good. And, it had some decent gore in there, you know, with the hand chopping and all that stuff. So I'm like, I can't complain. And the whole scene with the bus was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I thought it was solid. I'll never watch it again. But the thing is immediately after that, I followed it up with Green Room, and I'm like, holy fuck, Green Room destroy. Yeah, and then I was on a Green Room high. And so, to be honest with you, I haven't even thought about Perfection since then. Like, Green Room has totally taken it over.
Yeah, because you haven't seen Perfection like that movie.
Obviously, but no, it's good. It's good shit. So what'd you see? You didn't know if you liked it or didn't like it. What makes you say that? So
yeah, the plot was so goofy. The acting was goofy.
What's the difference between I don't know if I like it or dislike it and a 5 rating, which is middle of the road? Isn't that the same?
I'd probably give it a 5. Yeah.
So Josh James was saying Jordan Peele was sucking the movie's dick, and then I realized, well, that's the same actress. And
see, I don't think he was. I think he was saying like this is what Jordan Peele wishes he could make, like with Us, or because he said he didn't like Us.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't like Us. That Us sucked. I'd like to do a cinematum on Us.
See, I'm hoping that I'm gonna watch Us and I'm gonna notice like, oh, you just didn't get the subtext here, and then I could mock you for not getting the subtext.
Well,
see, I was going to a movie hoping that I like it if most people hate it, hoping that I hate it if most people like it. It's pretty funny.
I don't like it.
I'm a contrary little bitch.
I wasn't a big fan of it. I'll never watch it again. But no, I could see how this movie kind of had a Jordan Peele type quality. And the star of it was the same girl that was, once again, kind of a weird twist bad guy, but she didn't turn out to be a bad guy in this. Of the first one, Get Out. I don't know. It is what it is. The acting was him.
You sounded cooler before you coughed. Go back to that.
Because it's like I had the cum caught in my throat. I sounded like the bad guy from The Crow, right?
Yeah, you sound like fucking, what's his name, doing Donatello. I got a frog in my throat.
I hope I didn't swallow. I was like, I swallowed a frog.
Yeah.
Oh, it is an ancestor. So anybody that's you're not a toy nerd or whatever like Mac is and me. Well, Mac's more of a mask nerd, but I'm a toy nerd, and I finally have, well, no, not quite completed it, but my Turtles 1, the movie NECA 1/4-inch scale, 1/4 scale collection. I got the foot soldier, so I have the Turtles. I have all 4 of them. I don't have the trench coat Raph, but I have all 4 of the Turtles. The
fucking coolest one.
Well, they didn't release until after.
Mm-hmm.
They released him like last year after I had 4 of them. Like, oh shit. And it's like one of those things where, fuck, maybe that's the last one I'll try to obtain, since it's basically the same one I've already got with a fedora and a hat, you know, but whatever. So I got the foot soldier in the mail last week, and I went ahead and they just released Shredder this past week, and I got him. So, and he's coming to the mail Monday. So I've got the core, and hopefully they release Casey Jones. The thing is they're so big and I only have so much space. So I keep having to hang wall shelves, you know, but I'm into that. I'm into those stuff. So
yeah, you gotta get the fucking Raph though, because he's got that trench coat and the fedora. He's got a fedora, so you know he probably has a YouTube channel where he talks about atheism and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Splinter's coming out too. They just haven't announced him or shown him yet, but he'll come, and I have to get Splinter. Hey, speaking of that bullshit, man, the YouTube bullshit and those provocateurs, what do you think about this quote unquote new adpocalypse again? YouTube pulling their own shit.
Oh, fuck it, YouTube. Fuck them. They're pissing on their own grave at this point.
Dude, it's done. And I'm just waiting for the uprising. It's the rinse repeat. You know, somebody has to come along and build a platform, right? That is going to sort of take it back for the people. And then that's going to get big. And then they're going to sell out to fucking Amazon or Google, right?
It's all going to happen again.
And then it's going to happen again. Rinse repeat. It's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. So it's all about just catching the wave, right? So, and there's been people that have been trying to figure things out. There's already some YouTubers that have come up with platforms. There's one platform, I forgot what it was. I actually took a screenshot of it and I want to run it by you. That
was that Steam It one that we were talking about getting a while back.
I don't remember. I'll have to look it up, but there's another one that a big YouTuber started, and a handful of big content creators have moved over to that. So people are trying. there's things on the horizon, and I kind of want to talk to you about a couple of these things I've been noticing and seeing if you want to get in on any of them. Just maybe we can get in on them early, and maybe if we think they're good or what the conditions are. But dude, YouTube and Google is a shit show. So basically, for anybody that's ill-informed, I think it started with which guy was it? Which right-wing guy?
I don't fucking know.
That where he was selling the merch. Which one was it, man? You know him.
Oh, Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder was selling a fucking shirt with Chavez on it, and something about like.
Yeah, he was mocking this fucking reporter guy for being gay. He kept calling him like, "Oh, you fucking Mexican queer," and all this shit. He's basically just beat a dick to him. And instead of fucking do what the guy should have done and just fucking mock him back, because it's fucking Steven Crowder. It's like the fucking retarded kid at school. You could mock him about anything. Just fucking post some old video of him doing his Christian comedy where he's promoting abstinence.
I think there's a line that you really need to consider before crossing when it comes to tattling to the daddy, right? I mean, to a degree, fucking handle it yourself. Like you said, he should have bit back with something clever.
Yeah, I would have fucking destroy that retard. Fucking like he's a fucking cunt. You could easily fucking just mock that bitch into oblivion. He released a video at one point where he's like, "Oh yeah, fucking AIDS never existed. It was like the government lied because it felt bad and wanted to help the gay community. And even if it did exist, who cares? Because it was only the gays that were dying from it."
So somewhere along the lines of all this bullshit, I guess they had saw that he was attaching merch links in his videos, and one of them had a picture of Chavez, and it had like a play on words, something about.
They had the guy's face that he was making fun of.
Okay,
and it had his name. It said "is a fag,"
but it said no. But it was a play on words. Fig. They put fig in there, and it had like a fig leaf.
See, that's not even fucking clever. See, he's a little bitch, and he's not in with fucking our boy Adrian the Omega. See, because I could say I'm a fat faggot, and I have nothing to worry about because Adrian the Omega gave me permission to say faggot. And we all good. See, if he said faggot, me and Adrian Mendoza had to show up and fuck the shit out of his ass, make him humble. See, I think he's too fucking obsessed with people's sexuality. What is this, like 7th grade? See, I think he's in the closet, and just like he was known for that whole like, "Oh yeah, this thing proved me wrong." I say, Steven Crowder's in the closet, prove me wrong. Everybody hashtag fucking prove Zach wrong, Steven Crowder. I want him to show up at my house, suck my dick, and we're going to look at his dick, make sure he doesn't get hard, because if he does, he's gay, and you can't hide biology, baby.
Anyway, they demonetized his channel and all that stuff until he takes all that down, which, whatever, fair play. I'm not saying it's a violation of free speech because Google is not the government, right? You're in their house. You technically play by the rules, whatever shitty rules those are.
There is a debate going on right now whether or not we should tax it like a public utility, and then they'd have to enforce free speech, but then the government would be involved. Ooh.
Whatever. So they released a statement, right? And the statement on paper looks fine, I guess. On paper, it sounds good. Like, we're not going to tolerate hate speech, and we're going to, basically take away all that poison that's, spewing rhetoric and all that stuff. Great. On paper. Now, the difference is whoever wrote that address there was an actual human being. But when YouTube takes those precautions and they update their policies on that stuff, it's bots that do all the work, right? And that's bad. Because bots are unforgiving, and they, we've documented it here with what they did to our channel. And within minutes of them releasing that statement, there was fucking tons of channels getting demonetized and removed, right? And they were like history teachers that were getting their channels fucking flagged and striked and taken down, or stricken, I guess is the word, because they had historical videos and subjects about Nazi Germany. But they were fucking like, it was historical, right? So you have these bots that are picking up trigger words, right? Nazi, bad. He must be a white supremacist.
So I'm going to make sure I tag Nazi in this video just for that.
Please don't.
See, I embrace it. See, our YouTube channel gets shot down. That's just one less thing I got to do.
Well, no, seriously though, we need to be proactive because it really is a matter of time. YouTube's been a sinking ship for a while. That's why we constantly say, hey guys, make sure you guys are subscribing to us on the podcast networks. Because right now, Apple Podcast isn't, I mean, don't get me wrong, Apple's a big conglomerate fucking thing too. But right now, we're still cool over there. We're still cool in all these places. So, trying to get as many people that maybe are on YouTube, but not the other places to migrate over there as well, because we're just waiting for it. We're just waiting for it. And we're going to look for other places too. And I'm going to run it by Zach, and we'll talk about some of these other formats and platforms that people are trying to start to combat.
Fucking Twitch was not the fucking answer.
Well, dude, yeah, whatever. But anyway, we're going to try and look into some of these other alternatives that people are trying to launch. And even if I have a hard time believing somebody's really going to take down Google at this point, right? YouTube is still just, they're so big. I think people will always kind of be a part of it. So even if these new platforms aren't very big, I still say we should maybe think of some other place to jump off of and just at least have a fail safe in place. But we're going to figure it out. But it's not for anybody that's trying to make an income or kind of a living off of YouTube. That's fucking dumb. It can't happen. It's not going to happen anymore unless you were one of the initial people riding that wave and actually being a unique content creator.
You notice every time though, it's like these fucking big guys do something fucking stupid and then they punish them. Doing so, yeah, just fuck everything up.
Well, and they also punish the little people, right? It's the big channels can do something, but the thing is these big channels, like these monstrous channels, they have actual customer service people at YouTube, Google on speed dial.
See, I hear that they don't even have that either.
No.
Like they have like email addresses, but they end up going to fucking bots too most of the time.
No. It depends on how big they are. I've listened to some of these big YouTubers and they've talked about the hierarchy, right? If you're a YouTuber with like 500,000 subs, maybe even 1 million, yeah, you might still get the email treatment. You might be bumped up to email, right? But if you're someone like Boogie2988 or all these, if you're like in the 4+ million, or if you're like even bigger, if you're fucking, like your PewDiePies, dude, those guys have people on speed dial. They're big money makers, right? And they talk about how they have people they can talk to, And so when someone like PewDiePie legit was under fire for making anti-Semitic jokes and saying Jew slurs and stuff like that. Now, regardless if he was just being satirical or not, he actually said these things and he is bulletproof, right? He has people he can talk to, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe a policy is going to go into place because it's not just the Crowder thing. It's a result of all that stuff happening over the past year. The PewDiePie, all this stuff's kind of building up for them to finally put in this policy, and it's going to affect these little people that are going to get attacked by the bots, and they're not going to have any recourse. They're not going to have any voice and be like, hey, what's up, man? Because we've done it. We've been struck. We've been demonetized. It happens, and we can't talk to anybody. And they also say, well, you can rebuttal. You can plead your case and put it in this box and submit it if we made a mistake. But they limit you to like 40 characters. Like you can't even get a complete thought out. And it also says like, if we reject it, we'll review it. And if we reject it, AKA one of our bots rejects it, we're not going to just decline you. We're going to actually give you an actual strike to the account, which is worse than just getting demonetized. Like, what the fuck? So it pretty much bullies you and corners you into not a little guy to not even wanting to try and fight it. And you just pretty much take your lumps. And it's a fucked up system, man.
That's why nobody even fucking relies on YouTube for the monetization, though.
You shouldn't. No.
They do that fucking other shit.
Yeah, well, and that's been a thing for a few years now. So anybody that's trying to do that, it's lame. So, and we're not YouTubers. We've never been YouTubers. We're a podcast that also puts our shit on YouTube. And that's the way I've always thought about it. So it doesn't bother me none. I'm just saying, eventually, I think the time is nearing where our channel's probably going to be no more on YouTube. Like something's going to happen. I'm just waiting for it. And you'll have to look elsewhere for us. Or we'll have to find new places to also spread our seed.
Yeah, fucking Twitch stopped letting us upload videos. So
yeah,
if you were following us there, like, why'd they stop uploading a Twitch version?
Yeah, well, they were like, I don't know. I thought they were going to go the other way. And they were talking about like, they were even buzzing about being the thing to take down YouTube, right? And they got bought out too. Amazon bought them, right? The same thing happened. But now they've kind of went back on everything. Look, you know what? We're kind of getting away. We're getting away from what Twitch was really about. So going forward, no posting old videos. Everything has to be streamed new. And then what stream new will be logged. I'm like, All right.
No, you can't. You just got to have so many subscribers before you can upload videos.
Okay. Well, once again, it's that whole fucking crazy thing where it's designed to keep the big dogs big and the small people down. Same thing with YouTube, right? This isn't the first quote unquote adpocalypse. The first one I think was happening over a year ago when they changed the way the algorithms worked and the way everything worked. They're like, okay, so anybody that doesn't have this much watch time per year and this many subscribers, you're automatically no longer partnered. Whereas, there was a point before that where everybody was a partner. And they were legit crippling your channels. The people that weren't partnered, they were not getting exposure. They were not getting the circulation that people that were. Luckily, we were partnered and we were past that threshold and all that stuff, which is good. But once again, it's a system that's designed to keep the people that have been the big YouTube dogs from day one at the top and nobody else even coming close, and it's just this weird system. I don't know. It's like when you go to the festival circuit, and the same, it's the same headliners every year because it's always going to go to Europe and it's always Metallica or Iron Maiden are headlining every year, right? It's because they're not really letting anybody like advance to that next stage because those old dogs are still alive. I don't know. It's stupid, but Zach, we need to start our own format. What would you do? We don't have the money, but let's just pretend.
Oh, fuck it, no.
You wouldn't like it because I would have my anti-porn stance. Like, all right, you'd be like, yeah, finally, we got ultimate freedom. But like, Zach, no.
See, you are the YouTube of the group.
Look, I know, bro. We got another face. Michael Rooker's in this.
Exactly.
See, there's just so many faces popping up in this flick. I love it.
Yeah, whenever I was listening to that episode, you were like, oh, yeah, I don't want that to have anything to do with what I'm involved in. But it's not against freedom of speech because you can always start your own podcast. I was going to say, but I do have my own podcast. It's called Back and Zach, and it's on the Revival House, which you are a part of.
Yeah, but you don't do porn on that.
See, that's the thing. You want to make sure I do something. Just, you got to tell me not to do it, or I can't do it. Then I will fucking want to do it.
I don't fucking know, dude. But Yosemite Sam's about to get it here. Oh.
Yeah, fuck him.
It's pretty good. I don't know, man, but we're in a weird phase right now, and it's not just us. It's the whole landscape. And we're kind of figuring things out. I still love it. Me and Zach, especially me, but me and Zach have been doing this for so long. We've seen the tides turn. We've seen podcasts start and stop, right? Like what would you say the average shelf life of a podcast is before they call it quits? Nobody makes it past like episode fucking 50, let alone 20, and they just call it quits. And that's because people get busy. They can't make any sort of supplemental income with it. And, the older you get, time is money. It's super, super important. And Zach and we still love doing it. I have fun doing it. I like keeping it fresh. I like trying new things. We're just going to have to figure out a way to survive and keep it going. And, we've been talking about it a while. We're building a merch store if people want to support us and buy t-shirts, and it's pretty much just wait for me to hit a kill switch on that. I got a couple of things I need to tweak with it. Zach too. And, we're going to figure out something to do with a way for Patreon. And we want to figure out all that stuff because we want to keep doing this, and we're going to find more homes. And I'm looking forward to the next YouTube, even if we only get to enjoy it for a whopping 4 years before a big conglomerate buys it out, right? Because I think that's how long YouTube was around for, 4 years, and then someone took the buyout. But
what would be really funny is if like the Pornhub people made the next YouTube thing, then you would be really fucked.
Or if if Pornhub opened it up, you know what? We're just going to open it up free for them. We're going to keep all our porn, but now you guys can also bring your other content too. So basically we're like an uncensored YouTube. Put out whatever you want up here.
And then we couldn't do it because you're a bitch.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's weird. It is a weird gray area, man, because I'm all for a public forum. Like, let's say hypothetically we started our own network. We started our own YouTube type thing. I guess I would be kind of like, I wouldn't want like a neo-Nazi channel on there that was preaching, hanging people and all kinds of stuff. Once again, I get Google's stance on it. On paper, it's fine. Who wants a bunch of crazy? It's just who they're attacking. It's like, I think you guys are getting crazy with this. You're getting trigger happy. It's who you're targeting. You're not really targeting really bad people all the time, and you're wasting your efforts when there's
that fucking blew my mind, by the way. Whenever I would see fucking like, oh, we got demonetized, but then I'd go and I'd see fucking actual neo-Nazi channels still getting money. I was like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the message and stuff's in the right place, but they're not really putting their efforts to good use.
They're fucking shit. They're shit at what they're doing. They need to just fucking give up.
They need to look at the difference between satirical comedy. They need to look at the difference between somebody that's just an asshole but speaking, whatever they're doing. And they need to look at the real hardcores. Like these people are serious. This is real bad. This is toxicity in the place.
Of our city, of our city.
And like I said, on paper it's good, but when they have such a community that's too big to handle and they have bots doing everything, it becomes a problem. Like, okay, now it's just policing everything. And it's like, it's almost like internet excessive military force. It's like, what are you doing? You're going through the town, you're spraying tear gas on all these small YouTubers. I didn't do anything wrong. It's fucking ridiculous. So I don't know. They just don't got their stuff in order. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the next thing, and we can enjoy that for however long it is until that gets bought out, because it'll inevitably happen. Money always. I'm not saying I'd be any different, Zach. If you and I created a thing that was to combat YouTube and it gained a following, and YouTube's like, you know what, you're getting a little too big for your britches, and we're still the top dog in here. We're gonna buy you out and just basically swallow you. Damn straight, you and me would be talking about it. Like, hey man, they're offering us $5 million.
I wouldn't. I'm ultra punk.
GG Allen.
I'd be like, you're gonna sell me your fucking half, and I ain't paying them shit.
So.
No, I'm joking. I'd fucking sell right away.
So I don't blame it. I don't blame people like the YouTube creators and stuff for selling out or whatever for the buyout. I don't blame it at all. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But
why don't those retards make the new one?
Hey, bro, look, Charlton Heston. There's Charlton Heston. There's so many people in this movie. I was saying earlier that Tombstone, Arizona, it's about 45-minute drive. I want to say directly south of Tucson, something like that. But it's 45 minutes drive from Tucson. And I still haven't been there yet. But the whole thing is just like a ghost town, like any other ghost town in the Southwest, where you go there and their only source of income is tourism. So you go there and they have the OK Corral and everything set up, and you can buy t-shirts, you can take pictures and stuff. And they have like the reenactments, kind of like in Vacation. You seen that?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to go. I've been to a lot of those old mining towns, but I actually haven't been to Tombstone. But they used to have a big, like a studios, like a film studios there, and it's still there, and you can go and visit. But they filmed a lot of old movies and old westerns on these studios out there, and used the set pieces and stuff. And they filmed episodes of Little House on the Prairie and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place. So hopefully I get to see it.
Exactly.
But anyway,
this movie's fucking long, by the way.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. I told you. So, I mean, it's got 27 minutes, man. We're having fun talking. You want me to start reading a few comments, actually?
I am all out of funds. I'm out of fucks to give.
What else have I seen her in? She's actually hotter than Mary Steenburgen.
Who's Mary Steenburgen?
Steenburgen. She's Doc Brown's lady.
They look the same to me.
No, they're dressed the same. They got the same hair and the same attire.
I'm pretty sure it's the same chick playing them.
Okay.
They thought they'd be cool and just cast the same person, I think.
All right, so let me see here. It's hard for me to find. Keep talking. I'm looking through the comments right now, and it's
fun fact. Fucking Aaron, like, he kept blowing me off. I was like, "Hey, you want to do the fucking Tombstone?" He's like, "Yeah, tomorrow, I promise." Next day, yeah, I got some stuff to do, but tomorrow, I promise. The next day, hey man, yeah, I got behind. We're gonna do it tomorrow, though, I promise. And then I pick up the phone. I'm like, "What do you know about keeping your promises? You never keep your promises. You never do anything you say you're going to do, ever."
Damn you, Howard. Yeah, well, stuff kept happening, and that's what's good, that we're one ahead. I wanted to get ahead. But, like, So it didn't matter as long as we got it recorded this week, we'd still stay one ahead, and I apologize for that. But then like stuff did keep happening, and then my fucking wrist and all that shit, and I had to go to an appointment I didn't plan on going to that put me behind, and I had to stay after and make up some work. And then of course I was in agony last night from this. That was unexpected. So yeah, I mean, just shit happens sometimes.
You see, you should do a fucking opioid commentary. Just take the whole pill bottle and we do a fucking movie of a dog. You could tell us what fucking, they gave you the same shit fucking, what's his name? Fucking Rush Limbaugh was on.
I don't know. What was he on?
The Oxycontin. I know that because I sucked his dick and he came and it tastes like Oxycontin.
All right. So, hey, what was was the X-Files the last commentary you put up, or Mask of the Phantasm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. I think I got it. So basically, let's start off with The Continental 89. Not familiar with them as a commenter, so maybe you're new to the Revival House. Welcome aboard, and thank you for listening and commenting. They decided to stumble upon the Edward Furlong and Corey Feldman joint, The Zombie King. I like how that's the only video in our catalog that you actually titled like that, Edward Furlong and Corey Feldman in The Zombie King.
Yeah, you told me to, because no one's going to fucking know what this movie is.
No, I forgot. You're right. And I was my suggestion. And I stand by it because the way it's all set up is those initial words are more important. And yeah, we need Furlong and Corey Feldman. But anyway, they say Corey Feldman as Corey Feldman. Then they go on to say, Corey, yeah, man. We could use my Twisted Soul opening dubstep music for this movie. Furlong, what am I doing here? Yeah, dude, that whole movie is a bad acid trip. Or Edward Furlong looks like he really doesn't want to be there at all. He looks like he filmed all his scenes in an afternoon, and he's got the most I don't give a fuck look on his face I've ever seen. Even, look, Edward Furlong used to be a decent actor, right? He grew to kind of be a decent actor. And he's really not given a very caring performance in this. He's really just kind of arbitrarily throwing his lines out there. He's not even looking at whoever the fuck he's talking to. I think he's seriously rolling his eyes in a couple of shots.
He probably wasn't even looking at the person he was supposed to be. They probably didn't really have the actors together.
Yeah, they probably just got him to film all his shit one afternoon, and they had him alone on a mountain or something. Yeah, it was terrible, man. And
they had him shoot it with his camcorder in his backyard, send it in to him.
And they got Corey Feldman for one afternoon too. They got him to dust off his old prosthetic makeup from that shitty Tales from the Crypt movie, right? And he played a zombie, and I don't even think he had this weird like edited voice in post. It's a trash movie, but a fun commentary. But thank you for listening, and you're new to the fold. So hopefully you're going over and checking us out on those podcast networks if you're just now listening to us about all that spiel about YouTube dying and all that. Somebody by the name of Chris Green commented on my old school interview with Ernie Hudson. He was saying, Bill Murray fucked over Ernie Hudson in promotions in the first Ghostbusters. So that piece of shit owed that plug to Ernie Hudson. So
you sound like fucking John Redcord when he said that.
For her headaches. Yeah. No, exactly. Thank you, Chris Green, for commenting. And I'm actually not familiar with that. So I know, and that's what we were talking about in the interview, is in recent years, like even before Harold Ramis died, those were Bill Murray's terms and conditions for even playing with the notion of doing a third one is, look, you got to give Ernie equal billing. Stop treating him like shit. And but he's saying Bill Murray fucked Ernie Hudson over in the promotion of the first GB movie. I don't know. Maybe I need to look for that stuff on YouTube. I don't know. Well, he's still kind of the new kid. That role was designated. It was written for Eddie Murphy, and he couldn't do it or something. So, it was Ernie Hudson's big break. And so maybe he felt like Bill Murray, he wasn't part of the club, because originally it was like, hey, we're all like SNL, SCTV guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, now the club's broken. Eddie Murphy can't do it. And we got this outsider here that isn't from the same club as us. So maybe that was just a growing pains period, right? Like the hazing, like just kind of getting used to him. So I don't know, but I'd be interested to check out those videos. If you have any, link them. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to read the Mutineer. You comment a lot lately. We appreciate it. Witch King. Mutineer, you commented on Mask of the Phantasm, the commentary released just this last week. You say Cinema Snob does porn interviews. He put prawn. I think it was a misspelling, typo. Cinema Snob does porn reviews and gets away with it. And he even shows clips, safe clips, but still.
Cinema Snob is dank AF too.
And he does go, I'm siding with Aaron on the eating while podcasting issue, though.
Oh, fuck, boy.
So that's the guy that you said was a beta. You call him my boy Mutineer a beta?
If the shoe fits.
No, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't remember who said it, so I'm actually glad it was somebody that hasn't been listening longer.
Yeah, Mutineer's been a loyal listener for a time, though, and he's been going through our archives, man. He's got that sweet Invisible Man avatar.
Oh, yeah, he has been listening for a while.
Yeah, man, he's the shit, man. So you back off.
See, I didn't mean it when I said it.
You back off my boy, man. If he says the chewing is annoying, if you don't take me seriously, that's fine. But the people are speaking. It's annoying. But you can do what you want on Mac and Zach. I was just keeping it real. I was like, look, whenever Mac goes on when he goes on those chewing tirades, I can't finish him. That's just my thing. But whatever. He can do whatever he wants.
Makes me fucking like him more, if anything.
Witch King, you comment on Mask the Phantasm, and this was your recommendation. So we answered your request, and he comments, you mentioned 90s X-Men and Yngwie, and for that, I tell you to look up the opening theme for the Japanese airing of X-Men. The first one features what sounds like a Judas Priest rendition of Rising Force, where anime versions of the characters blow shit up, and the second theme is like Stryper. And it's funny because I have the faintest deja vu fucking Mandela effect memory or something that I've seen this, or I've heard about it at least. But I need to look it up because that's a fun tidbit. And that's actually a fun coincidence that I brought up Yngwie. So, but yeah, it's really, really neat, man. I love that cartoon. So, and hopefully you liked the Mask of the Phantasm. Hopefully we did you justice. I know that was an interesting commentary. I listened to it today and it was kind of fun. I liked it. We talked more about Batman in general than we actually did the Mask of the Phantasm. But aside from that, we just talked about basically the dirty laundry of BTM's history. Mm-hmm. It became an airing of all that, an airing of grievances, right? Festivus. So, but it was a lot of fun to listen to. I was kind of surprised you didn't throw that prank call in there again. So
I forgot.
It's funny though, but I listened to it and it did remind me, and I didn't remind you then, but I'm going to remind you because I heard it on the podcast where you're telling me to remind you to make a mental note about Dr. Sleaze. Mm-hmm. That's going to make a good one. Mask of the Phantasm as well. We got our boy, William Lowry. He says, once again, I got to side with Aaron. Porn ain't good for you. I like women as much as the next guy, but porn just desensitizes you to nudity and creates a fantasy version of what you expect sex to be. Anyhow, I'm surprised it took y'all this long to do an animated movie. I would say y'all should do heavy metal next, but y'all already did it on commentary with Josh and Wiesel on it.
Mm-hmm.
What? You edited it. Because at first he didn't have that on there, and then I actually messaged him back saying, actually we did. If you look under our collaborations, we did it with Josh and Wiesel. And then he edited his comment saying, but y'all already did it. And it made me look like a fucking idiot.
It's because you are an idiot. He wanted to make you look like what you are.
Because now I'm commenting on it like actually, like I didn't see him type that. Smooth move, William. Smooth move.
He's a fucking smooth operator.
Smooth operator. But he says, yeah, found it. Mutineer actually commented on that particular thread, and he says, I don't know if it's bad for you, but I'm old enough to be nostalgic for pre-internet porn. I think 24/7 instant free on demand at your fingertips is probably not so healthy, but that applies to more than just porn. Also, since the internet, I've seen things I had never known existed, and I wish I could unsee. So yeah, now I just don't look anymore. That's actually a good, interesting point of view, interesting middle ground perspective, right? You're kind of more in the gray area. You're kind of taking it, you're looking at both sides of the argument there. That's what it sounds like, Mutineer. And that's what I hope I can do that deep end, man, because that's the kind of stuff I want to talk about. I'm not going to sit there and say someone like Bad, if he wants to do it, is wrong, but I want to talk about it. I want to look at it objectively, right? Mm-hmm. So did you by a chance reach out to Bat and see if he was down for that?
Yeah, he said it depends on what time, baby. So you should probably schedule time, baby.
Well, it sounds like it's gonna be more up to him then. If you don't mind telling him, you can tell him I'm free to do it any weekday night.
All right,
I can make room. Any weekday night, I can make room for it. Where does he live these days, or what time zone? You don't have to tell me where he lives.
I think he's like an hour ahead of me.
So he's 3 hours ahead of me, right? So he's East Coast?
Maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe, no, I'm an hour ahead of him, I think.
Where does he live? Just tell me.
He's living back in Michigan.
No, Michigan would be 3 hours. That's an hour ahead of you, bro.
All right.
Okay, so tell him any night on the weekdays, right? And he's 3 hours ahead of me, so that leaves me plenty of time, if that makes sense. So even if he can do it like late, if he's like a Mac type, and he's like, well, I'll be free around 10 p.m. That's only 7 for me. I'll make it work. I'll make it work for him, and I'll make exceptions if I have to stay up a little later. Just tell him pick an evening on the weekday, and I'll do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you guys, all you guys that are commenting on this stuff right now about the porno stance, submit questions, more things you want us to discuss. I'm already gonna like look at these. I gotta take screenshots of these and bring them up because these are good points. Mutineer, what you just said is a good like middle ground stance on it. You know, it begs the question: is it so much bad in itself, or is it the abundance, the abuse of it? You know, because you're right. Everything can be abused. There is too much of even good things, right? Pizza's good.
No.
Listen, pizza's good. You eat too much of it, bad, right? Drugs, man, I don't do drugs myself. I'd never touch a drug. I think I've got too much of an addictive personality to even bother with it. I don't even want to touch the stuff. But I've met people that can drink one glass of wine, right? And stop. I've met people that can party and even do party drugs and go crazy, but only on special occasions, just when somebody's getting married and there's a bachelor party, or, you know, it's that biannual trip to Vegas. But the rest of the year, they go back to their families and they don't touch stuff. So some people are capable of it. And I think it just kind of, you know, depends on the individual and what they can take. And I suppose if you want to take the moral argument out of pornography, the same thing would apply, right? I do think. So when I was a kid, and I'll talk about this more when we actually have the podcast, but when I was a kid, I think I learned about sexuality and all that stuff at a natural pace, right? Because I've brought it up before, but I'm pre-internet. I'm pre-internet, and you know we had to do it old school. You and your buddies were out in the woods, and you found a dirty magazine. Whoever fucking left that there, it seems like we all found porno in the dirty magazine in the woods. But you know it wasn't easy to come by, right? And when you did come by it,
you came by it.
Well, you couldn't buy it, you know, you had to come by it, like finding it in the woods, or maybe one of your buddies found his dad's stash. It was always, it was very regulated. And yeah, I think there was something about it that didn't corrupt because of that. But now you bring the moral argument into it. You could say, well, it doesn't matter how much porn it is, or if it's like a small dose or it's here and there, it's bad on a moral ground. I get that too. So
what the fuck is morally wrong with it?
I mean, do I have to get into that right now?
You should.
Why?
You really should.
I mean,
because I don't see it.
We're talking from a Christian aspect or a religious aspect or whatever religion you are.
Oh, come
There's
on.
There's religion. I'm saying there's different facets that this goes into. So we could address it, in which we will, from Mutineer's point, where it's more like just an abundance of something. Too much of something's bad. And then we can also address it from just the moral ground of like, or maybe a religious standpoint or what have you. So I want to look at it objectively, and I'd love, like I said, to talk to Bat about it. So, and I want you on it too, man. As long as you promise not to fucking turn it into you can't fucking gang up on me. We're gonna have like a legit discussion on it. You know, don't be a troll because Bat's there. You know what I mean? So don't forget it's the deep end, and you have a certain role on that show. Don't just fucking troll it up, because I know you want to. That's why I'm always hesitant. Like, I don't know if Zach can be trusted talking about boobies on a serious podcast, but we'll see. But I'm all about it. I'm very excited about it. And if you're on it, you know what would be fun? I want to see if River will come on it, because that would be good, because you and Bat are on the same kind of side of the table, right? And me and River would be on the other side of the table, and it would be very equaled out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to do. I'm going to run it by Riverman, and perhaps maybe that would make it even more of a fun outing for Bat too. So anyway, appreciate that. And I appreciate the comments on that particular topic, Mutineer. That was great. And thank you again, William, for commenting as well. Lastly, I'm going to read a comment from the Omega. We always end on Omega.
He is the Omega.
He is the Omega, right? He is He is the end. He is the ending. So he comments on Mask of the Phantasm as well. He says, funny commentary. Aaron, when Zach asked how big your dick was, I truly thought you were finally going to give us listeners the answer. I was crestfallen when you did not do so. I like that word, crestfallen. Nobody uses that anymore. He said, I guess we will never know the length of your white snake. I posted a still of Bruce Wayne swinging schlong a while back on Instagram. Aaron, I respect the fact that you don't watch porn, and I would love to hear an episode of The Deep End where you talk about it. Good. He says, I, for one, need porn, and I love seeing throbbing, long, hard cocks going into men's hairy, hungry holes. Gross.
Yeah, see, we need porn. We fucking cup in our fist and then inject it into our veins.
Look, I gotta say, I think the way that was brilliantly written. I can't say it didn't gross me out a little bit, but like the way you constructed the words and the sentences, that shit would make Tolkien jealous. How descriptive you were. I'll never you burned it in my mind. You etched into my skull phrases like hairy, hungry holes. That sounds like a Milton Bradley board game.
Exactly.
Like hungry, hungry holes. Gross. But, I'm sorry, man. I said what I said, and that's what I'm going to stick to. But anyway, dude, those are awesome comments. I appreciate all you guys. And like I said, I want to say as well, it's cool. We can all have different opinions on it, and we're all family here. This is the Revival House.
We can't have all different opinions. We gotta watch porn together and jack off together in unison.
Look, that's the beauty of our country we live in, right? Zach, he did it. He jerked off with a bunch of his friends under a blanket together to porn, which is really weird. To me, I can choose to not partake in that, but I could still be friends with Zach, even though that's weird.
See, when I'm president, everybody's going to be forced to jack off at least 20 minutes a day at the same time.
Oh, it'll be like praying in the mosque facing the Mecca in Muslim countries.
Fuck yeah, you have to shoot your nut in a certain
like at
direction.
the same time. Yeah. Can you imagine that? You know, like in those countries, like everybody drops and they pray at the same time. Can you imagine walking through the streets of, you know, something like Casablanca or whatever, and just everybody's got their pants down around their ankles at a high noon, just jacking it?
That'd be fucking
interesting.
Dog.
But like I said, you know what? It's cool. We can all have these differences, and as long as people are just chatting, no one's throwing stones at each other, man. We're all welcome here. I like.
No, right after we nut, we gotta throw stones at each other.
Okay. So anyway, it's cool, man. I'm happy to have everybody on board. I love Zach to death. Mendoza, you know what? You liking hard cocks going into men's hairy, hungry holes, you do you, man. So live and let live. That's always been my philosophy, you know? So, and it's all welcome. It's all loved. So
and when I'm president, that'll be a fucking board game. I'm gonna put Adrian as my chief of board games. He's gonna make hungry, hungry holes. It's gonna be like hungry, hungry hippos, but it's like a cock that you're smashing down on. You gotta collect all the nuts.
Why are you just echoing on everything I just said? I came up with that. Where's my residuals?
You did?
I said it was like a fucking Milton Bradley game. Hungry, hungry holes.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I'm kind of half not paying attention.
I guess so, man. But anyway, the movie's over. I think it's a classic. I think it's a good flick. Look at that. It's got like 8 minutes of credits, dude.
Yeah.
You get to watch them for a few minutes, just kind of walking towards the camera like badasses.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Sam Elliott's the man. Dude, I want him to be my grandpa.
I wanted to jack off with my thighs.
So anyway, though, we can kind of start wrapping it up there. There's no reason to watch them coming at our faces for oh, that sounded bad. Coming at our faces for the next 5 minutes. But Zach, what's new? What's coming out? What's on the horizon for Mac and Zach? Anything? I know you guys recently put out your drunken commentary, right? For
that's it, baby. We haven't recorded anything yet.
Yeah, that was a good one though. I liked the Double Dragon. That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
And has Josh been in? What's going on with the Hard to Kill podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully we got one of those coming soon. Hopefully we'll have Cinema Enema this weekend. I'm looking forward to that getting out there. I love when those pop up, man. I like listening to them, even though we recorded it. I enjoy listening to those. And like I said, we got Clean and Sober coming at you. So an underrated Clean and Sober. That's a movie that would apply under the people forget about it movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got a big studio behind it. It's got actors people know and love, but yet it's just kind of lost in time. And, you know, even people like you didn't even hear of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a big fan of that focus doing a month of kind of flicks like that. I think it could be cool. And who knows? Like I said, it might actually raise some awareness to some people that might not have known a certain movie that we think is pretty rad even exists. So I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be a nice contrast to doing a movie like Tombstone that everybody knows exists, you know? It's just whatever. So let's actually turn people on to some good movies. But what else is new?
And they're going to need to be turned on for whenever I'm president and I force them to jack off and then stone each other.
Yeah. So, and hopefully the Bat 32, which he looks, if you guys aren't aware of it already, we inherited all of the old exploited cinema episodes. Bat 32 was the founder and co-host of that. And so that's why we keep throwing that name around there. We don't expect you to know who it is exactly, but those are on the channel now. We got a couple episodes up and we're going to start burning through those and releasing those bi-weekly. And there was 68 total episodes, so you're going to be with us here a while. And it's cool because it's like a new experience to you guys.
And you got the 69th episode coming after we get a couple of them out.
Yeah, Zach did a reunion episode with Bat and Dale Roy, and yeah, it'll cap it off at episode 69. So, but that's cool, man, because anybody that didn't experience that, it's going to be a new podcast to y'all. And the cool thing is you guys get to experience the evolution. It's kind of, I wish we could do that. I wish we could go and upload, especially on YouTube, because we weren't on YouTube always. You know, YouTube didn't happen until a handful of years ago. So all those old BTM episodes from like 10 years ago or whatever the heck it is, they're not on YouTube and they're hard to find. I wish we could go through and put those classics up there. But so you're going to get to see with exploited cinema, the arc. You get to see how it starts off. You kind of see people cutting their teeth, and then you see people start to come into their own and see and finally get into their rhythm. And it's a lot of fun. I wish I could go back and listen to all that stuff of ours too. So
we could put them on there if you wanted.
I'm thinking about it. I wonder if we should maybe just, I'm not sure. We'll see if there's any demand for it. And maybe
we better hurry up before fucking YouTube dies.
Yeah. We'll think about it. We'll kick it around. Let us know. I mean, the thing is I want some people to have a reason to go back and to go to iTunes and check that stuff out there. I mean, how come, do we have access to that for podcast services? I mean,
yeah, how many times I gotta tell you that?
Well, I mean, because you keep putting out revival classics that it's usually themed with whatever we're doing that's recent, but it's usually stuff that's really in the past few years. But have you thought about putting up like Singapore Sling, like episode 1 of the old school shit?
Yeah, I brought it up once. You seemed to think like you didn't want that to be, you wanted those to just be in the past.
Well, I'm feeling nostalgic now, so I don't know. We'll talk more about it, but let us know. Would you guys like to hear the genesis of BTM? Would you guys want us to dig out all those old school episodes from years ago? It's pre-commentary, you know.
Pre-com.
It's pre-commentary. Yeah. We didn't really switch to that until were we doing the commentaries before you officially came on full time, or was it when you came on?
You did like 2 or 3.
So it's around the same time, but for years we were more of a traditional cast, you know, talking about certain topical movies and bullshitting about whatever. So if you guys have any interest in seeing that stuff, there was different people on the podcast back then. We'll definitely entertain it for sure, because there is some gems in there, and it's, you know, kind of fun to go back and listen to. At the very least, we're going to do that Campfire Tales with Dr. Sleaze. That might be a good way to introduce people to it. Like, hey, you guys want a snippet from the old Halloween special? I think it was the same special that the last Campfire Tale was from, where Zach called in, right? Yeah. It might have been. I'm not sure. That was the 1-year anniversary. I'm confused. I'm all confuzzled. But I think we should put that out, and people can maybe use that as a gauge. But
spank material.
Yeah, it's really good shit. But anyway, like I said, if I haven't already said it enough, make sure you guys, if you guys are on YouTube, fantastic, like, subscribe, share it with all your family, your kin, your mailman, whoever. But also be sure to check out the links in the description below, and find yourself on over to one of the podcast networks, right? Because right now those are fail safes. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Play, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher. And like I said, Zach and I are going to kind of toss around ideas to maybe find some additional homes as well, and try and think ahead for the future. But you know what? if you do enjoy YouTube, maybe you're someone that kind of works on your laptop all day and you can kind of have it up in the background in a background window, and YouTube isn't really a nuisance to you. Maybe you still might want to like hop on over to those links, add a support, and maybe hop over to like iTunes app or whatever, the Apple Podcast app on your phone, and at least leave us a 5-star review or maybe a nice word or two as a review. That stuff goes a long way. But that's all we got. Perfect timing. The Hollywood video symbol Sphinx, the sphincter is coming up right now in the film, which that is basically signaling us as well to wrap it up. Zach, you got any last word?
Fuck YouTube.
Bye-bye, puppets.
End of the week at the Revival House. Next month's theme, you gotta figure it out. Italian zombies or Pauly Shore, a slasher with a knife and the girl next door, and 1 second in, get it all queued up and ready, hit play in 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye puppets, Zach Pete and a solo cut band. Couldn't miss Cameron's love and Joshua Scott failed and Riverman's bail. Bye-bye puppets. Sounds good, like this country used to. Revival House, 2019, y'all. That sounds like fire, like this country used to.